will be the enumeration phase. And then for these 12 states after Bihar, we're going to perhaps see the lists and see the shortfall from the original numbers that were there on 27th October 2025. The cutoff was 27th October 2025, the day the Chief Election Commissioner announced that 12 states also would go through this 100 meters race of doing SIR. There have been just so many issues, and it has got there has been mass anxiety actually. From my own perspective, having understood and seen what is happening in Bihar and what's happening in Rajasthan, the anxiety is at such a widespread level. परेशान इतने ज्यादा लोग हैं इस SIR से, राज्य से दूसरे राज्य में जाएं तो वो परेशानी एक बहुत ही व्यापक रूप में जनता के बीच में है। और इस परेशानी का ऐसा नजर आ रहा है कि ना सुप्रीम कोर्ट सुनने को तैयार है, ना इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया सुनने को तैयार है। और दरअसल ये सबसे ज्यादा परेशानी है क्या? What is this anxiety about? It's not merely getting off the voters list, but perhaps your citizenship itself may be questioned. परेशानी इस बात की लोगों के दिमाग में घर कर गई है कि ठीक है, वोटर लिस्ट में पहले भी नाम चढ़ता था, कई बार हट जाता था, परेशान नहीं होते थे कि भी फिर डलवा देंगे, इस बार वोट नहीं दिया तो अगले बार दे देंगे। पर इस बार कहीं ना कहीं इतनी ज्यादा परेशानी इस बात को लेके है कि शायद हमारे नागरिकता पर ही सवाल हो जाए। शायद जो हम सरकार के तरफ से कुछ छोटा मोटा बेनिफिट भी ले रहे हैं वो सब खत्म हो जाएगा, हमारी शायद सिविल डेथ हो जाएगी, और फिर हमारे साथ क्या होगा, क्या सलूक होगा। तो ये परेशानी इस वक्त बहुत बड़े पैमाने पे है। As I have said earlier, it's on a very mass scale, this difficulty that people are going through, the misery, the anxiety, and therefore it was in some ways the most important question for the PUCL dialogue for the month of November. But due to settling everybody's dates, reaching an agreement on one date, we decided that let's take it to the first week of December. And here we are today, all of us. So I'm not going to speak more than what I have said because we have many, many experts. I'm just going to try to make this conversation slightly seamless, connect one from to the other. I'd like to welcome specially our speakers, Prashant Bhushan ji, who is an eminent Supreme Court lawyer. वो जनता के वकील हैं प्रशांत जी। जब भी कहीं पे कोई परेशानी होती है, प्रशांत जी का नाम सबसे पहले, प्रशांत से बात करवा देंगे आप? वो कहीं ना कहीं जब लोग परेशान होते हैं उनको पता है अगर न्यायालय का दरवाजा खटखटाना है, वी हैव टू knock the doors of the Supreme Court, there's one lawyer who's going to be there, and that is Prashant Bhushan. There are many, many lawyers, but the kind of image that Prashant ji has not just created, he does it every time, is that somewhere he will assist you and help you. So we welcome Prashant ji, and we're going to start with you. But before that, I'm going to welcome Yogendra Yadav ji, the one person who's like writing every day. Every day there's an article in like 4 different newspapers and on websites, Hindi में भी, English में भी। सबसे ज़्यादा SIR के ऊपर योगेंद्र जी ने लिखा है, चर्चाएं की हैं, विचार किया है, और कहीं ना कहीं एक इलेक्शन एनालिस्ट होने से पहले, भाई इससे पूर्व जब योगेंद्र जी कुछ 4-5 साल पूर्व राजनीति में आए, before he came into politics, where he said, I'm full time into politics. He was one of the best election analysts we had, and we enjoyed watching him on television. And today, it came on him as an election analyst to actually see what was happening to the basic electoral structure of this country and what is it that SIR would do. So I welcome both our guests. We're going to start with them, but I would also like to welcome PUCL members and other friends from all the states. We welcome all of you, not just our members from the 12 states and union territories of Rajasthan, UP, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Lakshadweep, Pondicherry, Gujarat. Have I missed out on any? Uh, I welcome, and Goa, definitely. I welcome all of you. I'll introduce each one of you as you'll come in. We are very happy that everyone gave time. There's a small link. The PUCL Bulletin of December also brought out a small little article collating what the different states were saying. So it's like of 8 states we have experiences. So I'd like Aishwarya to post that link for everybody on the chat. And let's start. I invite Prashantji first to speak. Prashantji, it's very simple. The ECI keeps telling us this is just a routine exercise. They keep telling us it's a routine exercise. Why are you like so upset? SIR तो होता है, IR तो होता है, SIR तो होता है, सब इतने परेशान क्यों हैं? So my first question to you is that you were one of the first ones to knock on the doors of the Supreme Court as part of Association of Democratic Rights. The PUCL also went. It was after you. And one of our petitioners, Sarfaraz Suresh, our General Secretary, is part of National PUCL, and Sarfaraz from Bihar, who's going to be speaking also, went a bit later. So you were one of the first ones to rush to the Supreme Court, and it's now, I think, 5th of July. You all were already in the court, and it's like now 5 months. Tell us both about what is the problem with this exercise, and as a lawyer, as a constitutional lawyer, how do you locate it? And also tell us what is happening in the courts. And of course, my second question to you would be about procedural safeguards. If you want to talk about it now, you can also talk about it just now, because procedural safeguards is something you have really talked about. Anyways, I leave it to you to start. I don't want to structure your thoughts, but for the next 15-20 minutes, Prashant, I may interrupt you just in case there's a little focus that we may want to give you. Please go ahead, Prashant. Aishwarya, stop my spotlight. Yeah.
Thank you, Kavita. Good evening, friends from PUCL and whoever else is here. So, though the exercise of intensive revision has been done before, and it was done in 2003, but it has not been done in the manner in which it is being done today. There are several things unique about this current SIR exercise. One is that it's being done in a great hurry. Earlier, the Election Commission itself had said that if there are more than 6 or less than 6 months remaining for a state election, the SIR will not be done there, because we need at least 6 months' time to complete this exercise of intensive revision. So this time they are doing it in a great hurry. In Bihar, they did it in less than 3 months. In the other states also, they have given less than 3 months to complete this exercise. दूसरी बात यह है कि पहले कभी ये नहीं हुआ कि इंटेंसिव रिवीजन में नई वोटर्स लिस्ट बनाई जाएगी, बिल्कुल फ्रेश वोटर्स लिस्ट बनाई जाएगी. पहले जब पहला चुनाव हुआ था 1950-52 में, तो उस समय एक नई वोटर्स लिस्ट बनाई गई थी, और उसके बाद जब जब भी इंटेंसिव रिवीजन हुआ है तो पुरानी वोटर्स लिस्ट में से काट छांट करी गई है, एडिशंस करे गए हैं, लेकिन पुरानी वोटर्स लिस्ट को बेस की तरह यूज किया गया है। पहली बार, फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम after independence, after the first election, the Election Commission is now preparing the voters list afresh through this SIR exercise. उसके अलावा पहले कभी जब इंटेंसिव रिवीजन हुआ था तो ये रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं थी कि आपको इस तरह के डॉक्यूमेंट्स देने होंगे जो उन्होंने बोला है, बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट, पासपोर्ट, सिटीजनशिप सर्टिफिकेट, लैंड रिकॉर्ड्स, मेट्रिकुलेशन सर्टिफिकेट वगैरह। क्योंकि ये जो उन्होंने 11 डॉक्यूमेंट्स बताए हैं, और अब सुप्रीम कोर्ट के कहने पर वो ऐड किया है आधार कार्ड, लेकिन वो कह रहे हैं आधार कार्ड को हम प्रूफ ऑफ सिटीजनशिप नहीं मानेंगे, और जिसकी सिटीजनशिप हम डाउट करेंगे उससे हम बाकी डॉक्यूमेंट्स मांगेंगे। ऐसे तो अगर देखा जाए तो पासपोर्ट और सिटीजनशिप सर्टिफिकेट, पासपोर्ट और बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट के अलावा और भी जो 11 डॉक्यूमेंट्स इन्होंने बोले हैं, वो कोई मेट्रिकुलेशन सर्टिफिकेट भी कोई प्रूफ नहीं है सिटीजनशिप का, लेकिन ये कह रहे हैं कि हम फिर उनमें से देखेंगे वगैरह वगैरह। तो ये पहली बार हुआ है कि ये डॉक्यूमेंट्स मांगे जा रहे हैं। और एक जो लीगल आर्ग्यूमेंट कोर्ट में हम लोगों ने रखा है, कई लोगों ने रखा है, वो ये है कि भाई इंटेंसिव रिवीजन इस तरह का सिर्फ एक कंस्टिट्युएंसी में या कुछ कंस्टिट्युएंसीज में किया जाता है फॉर रीजंस टू बी रिकॉर्डेड इन राइटिंग, ये रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ पीपल एक्ट में लिखा है। लेकिन इन्होंने तो बिल्कुल एन मास पूरे देश में कह रहे हैं करेंगे, 10 राज्यों में ऑलरेडी नोटिफाई कर दिया वगैरह। तो इस तरह से एन मास करने का कोई अथॉरिटी नहीं है। तो एक तो ये है। दूसरी बात ये है कि इसमें वो कह रहे हैं कि हम सिटीजनशिप देखेंगे, उस आधार पर नई वोटर्स लिस्ट बनाएंगे। अब इलेक्शन कमीशन ही खुद कई बार कह चुका है कि वे सिटीजनशिप तय करने का अधिकार हमको नहीं है। Citizenship can only be decided by the authorities under the Citizenship Act or under the Foreigners Act, etc. And that is a Foreigners Tribunal or a court, or at best the Government of India under the Citizenship Act. Election Commission has no authority. All that the Election Commission can do is to flag people who they feel have doubtful citizenship and then send that matter to one of these authorities for their decision. But Election Commission on its own cannot remove somebody's name on their believing or suspecting somebody's citizenship. Secondly, एक केस हुआ था लाल बाबू हुसैन 1995 में। उसमें सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने बोला था कि भाई अगर कोई जना ऑलरेडी वोटर्स लिस्ट में है, पिछली वोटर्स लिस्ट में, तो उसका प्रिजम्पशन होगा कि वो सिटीजन है। और अगर इलेक्शन कमीशन को किसी भी आधार पर डाउट है उसकी सिटीजनशिप पर, तो उसको पहले वो नोटिस दे और उसमें बताए क्यों डाउट है, और ओनस ऑफ प्रूफ, कि आप प्रूव करें कि हम सिटीजन नहीं हैं, ये इलेक्शन कमीशन या किसी ऑब्जेक्टर पर होगा। हमारे ऊपर ये ओनस नहीं डाला जा सकता कि हम प्रूव करें कि हम सिटीजन हैं। ये क्लियरली लाल बाबू हुसैन वाले जजमेंट में लिखा था। तो एक तो खैर ये बड़ी गंभीर बात है, क्योंकि देखिए हुआ ये है कि जब भाजपा सरकार में आई तो उन्होंने बोला हम हिंदू राष्ट्र बनाएंगे, यानी कि नॉन हिंदूज को सेकंड क्लास सिटीजन्स बना देंगे, उनके वोटिंग राइट्स छीन लेंगे। फिर इनको ये रियलाइजेशन हुआ कि भाई संविधान संशोधन करके भी हिंदू राष्ट्र नहीं बना सकते, क्योंकि सेकुलरिज्म को बड़ी बड़ी सुप्रीम कोर्ट की बेंचेस ने बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर माना था, उसको बदला नहीं जा सकता, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन अमेंडमेंट से भी बदला नहीं जा सकता। तब इनको ये लगा कि हम एनआरसी करके, नेशनल रजिस्टर ऑफ सिटीजन्स बनाकर इस तरह के मुसलमानों वगैरह को बाहर कर देंगे। तो इन्होंने शुरू किया आसाम में, लेकिन आसाम में क्योंकि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने मॉनिटर कर लिया वो प्रोसेस जो था एनआरसी का, तो उसमें अगेन इन लोगों ने डॉक्यूमेंट्स मांगने शुरू किए, जैसे आज एसआईआर में मांग रहे हैं कि ये डॉक्यूमेंट्स दिखाइए। अब वो डॉक्यूमेंट्स तो बहुत लोगों के पास नहीं होते। हिंदुस्तान में कम से कम 25% लोग ऐसे होंगे, 20% तो होंगे ही, जिनके पास इनमें से कोई डॉक्यूमेंट नहीं है सिवाय आधार के। सिर्फ आधार एक डॉक्यूमेंट है जो करीब करीब सबके पास है, बाकी डॉक्यूमेंट ज्यादातर लोगों के पास नहीं है। तो आसाम में कितने 20-25 लाख लोग बाहर हो गए एनआरसी से, नेशनल रजिस्टर ऑफ सिटीजन से, लेकिन उसमें 80% लोग हिंदू थे, नॉन मुस्लिम थे। फिर से ये लोग फंस गए, क्योंकि अगर आप डॉक्यूमेंट्स मांगेंगे तो हिंदुओं के पास भी डॉक्यूमेंट्स नहीं है, गरीब जो लोग हैं मुस्लिम्स के पास भी नहीं है। फिर इनको लगा कि हम सिटीजनशिप अमेंडमेंट एक्ट से हिंदुओं को वापस ले आएंगे। तो सिटीजनशिप अमेंडमेंट एक्ट ले आए, उसमें बोल दिया कि नॉन मुस्लिम्स जो हैं सिटीजनशिप के लिए अप्लाई कर सकते हैं अगर वो बांग्लादेश, पाकिस्तान या अफगानिस्तान से आए हैं। लेकिन फिर इनको ये रियलाइजेशन हुआ कि भाई उसमें तो जो अप्लाई करेगा उसको ये लिखना पड़ेगा कि भाई हम तो पाकिस्तान में रहते थे या बांग्लादेश में या अफगानिस्तान में रहते थे, वहां से रिलीजियस प्रोसिक्यूशन से भाग कर आए हैं। तो वो भी लोग लिखने के लिए नहीं तैयार थे। तो अब इन्होंने नया दांव चला है कि हम एसआईआर करके लोगों को वोटर्स लिस्ट से बाहर कर देंगे, ये कह के कि भाई इलेक्शन कमीशन ने ये मान लिया कि वो सिटीजन नहीं है। किस आधार पर मान लिया ये कुछ नहीं बताया है। ये डॉक्यूमेंट्स बोले, अगर डॉक्यूमेंट्स देखे जाएं तो अगेन जैसे मैंने बोला 20-25% लोगों के पास इनमें से एक भी डॉक्यूमेंट नहीं होगा। तो इसलिए, और वो यूनिफॉर्मली जो गरीब लोग हैं, चाहे वो हिंदू हैं, मुस्लिम हैं, कोई भी धर्म के हैं, उनके पास नहीं होंगे ये डॉक्यूमेंट। तो इलेक्शन कमीशन, सरकार को ये लगा कि भाई इलेक्शन कमीशन तो हमारा पिट्ठू है और जो हम कहेंगे वो करेगा, और हम इनको बता देंगे कि भाई ये मुस्लिम्स हैं, इनका नाम बाहर कर दो, सारे मुस्लिम्स का नाम बाहर कर दो या ज्यादातर मुस्लिम्स का नाम बाहर कर दो। अगर जिनके पास डॉक्यूमेंट्स नहीं है हिंदुओं को छोड़ दो, लेकिन मुसलमानों का नाम बाहर कर दो। इस तरह से इन्होंने सोचा कि हम ये एसआईआर करके ये कर देंगे। लेकिन जब कोर्ट में हम लोग गए और कोर्ट ने कुछ कम से कम सवाल पूछे, देखिए कोर्ट में हियरिंग जो है बड़ी अभी तक स्पैज्मोडिक हियरिंग हुई है कि भाई एक दिन हो गई, 1 घंटे की हियरिंग हो गई, फिर कभी 1.5 घंटे की हियरिंग हो गई, और फिर शोर शराबे में हियरिंग हो रही थी। लेकिन अभी कुछ 2 दिन से प्रॉपर सिस्टमैटिक हियरिंग शुरू हुई है, और अब उसका रिजम्पशन ट्यूसडे को होगा, जिसमें कि सिस्टमैटिकली लोग बहस कर रहे हैं कि भाई एसआईआर में क्या प्रॉब्लम है, क्या होना चाहिए। दूसरी बात यह है कि इन लोगों ने बहुत हड़बड़ी तो खैर करी ही है, लेकिन बिल्कुल पारदर्शिता इसमें नहीं बरती है इन्होंने। पहली बात तो वोटर्स लिस्ट भी जो दिया है वो मशीन रीडेबल फॉर्म में नहीं दिया है। तो अगर आपको कुछ भी सर्च करना है तो आपको मैनुअली सर्च करना होता है। दूसरी बात, इन्होंने पहले तो जो नाम ड्राफ्ट रोल से हटाए थे बिहार में 65 लाख लोग, उनकी भी लिस्ट नहीं दी थी, सुप्रीम कोर्ट के कहने पर देनी पड़ी। अभी भी इन्होंने उसके बाद फिर 25 लाख लोग ऐड किए हैं वोटर्स लिस्ट में, उसकी लिस्ट नहीं दी है। 3 लाख लोग फाइनल लिस्ट बनने के बाद भी ऐड किए हैं, उनकी लिस्ट नहीं दी है। कुछ 3-3.5 लाख लोग हटाए हैं ड्राफ्ट रोल से, उसकी भी लिस्ट नहीं दी है। कोई पारदर्शिता नहीं बरत रहे, और ये कहते हैं कि डी डुप्लीकेशन सॉफ्टवेयर भी नहीं यूज करेंगे। अब हम लोगों ने दिखाया, बहुत लोगों ने दिखाया, रिपोर्टर्स कलेक्टिव वगैरह ने, कि भाई बिहार की फाइनल रोल में भी कम से कम 5 लाख डुप्लीकेट वोटर्स आ गए हैं, जिनके जो कि या तो फोटोग्राफिकली सिमिलर हैं या डेमोग्राफिकली सिमिलर हैं, जिनके नाम, फादर्स नेम, एड्रेस सेम है, सिमिलर है, या फिर उनका फोटो सेम है, सिमिलर है। और उसके लिए इन्होंने खुद ही, इलेक्शन कमीशन ने डी डुप्लीकेशन सॉफ्टवेयर बनाया था और इंस्ट्रक्शंस दिए गए थे कि ये डी डुप्लीकेशन सॉफ्टवेयर यूज किया जाए, लेकिन उसको भी नहीं यूज कर रहे हैं। तो मतलब इंटेंशन ये दिख रहा है कि भाई हड़बड़ी में कर दो, कोई पारदर्शिता ना बरतो, इसलिए हमारे पास बिल्कुल आर्बिट्ररी पावर आ जाएगी कि जिसको चाहे हम इंक्लूड कर लें, जिसको चाहे हम हटा दें। क्योंकि डॉक्यूमेंट्स तो बहुत सारे लोगों के पास नहीं होंगे, उसमें जिसको हम चाहें अंदर कर दें, जिसको चाहें बाहर कर दें, इस तरह का रवैया इलेक्शन कमीशन का दिख रहा है। क्योंकि अदरवाइज ये पारदर्शिता ना रखने का, वो कह रहे हैं कि भाई नहीं, हम मशीन रीडेबल अगर वोटर्स लिस्ट देंगे तो फिर राइट ऑफ प्रिवेसी का हनन हो जाएगा। मशीन रीडेबल देने से कैसे हनन होता है राइट ऑफ प्रिवेसी का? है तो बिल्कुल बकवास है। फिर ये सोशल ऑडिट भी नहीं कर रहे हैं। उन्हीं के मैनुअल में लिखा है कि भाई आप जब रिवीजन करते हैं, खासकर जब इंटेंसिव रिवीजन करते हैं, इनके जो एसआईआर के पुराने गाइडलाइंस थे उनमें भी ये सब चीजें लिखी थी। 2003 के जो गाइडलाइंस थे कि भाई आप सिटीजनशिप नहीं देखेंगे, आप ये सोशल ऑडिट करेंगे, यानी कि ग्राम सभा, वार्ड सभा करेंगे, बूथ सभा, हर बूथ में आप वहाँ के बूथ के लोगों को बुलाएंगे, पब्लिक मीटिंग करके फिर आप एक एक करके नाम पढ़ेंगे और फिर लोग बताएंगे कि भाई ये आदमी तो मर चुका है, या ये यहाँ से जा चुका है, या ये आदमी तो यहाँ रहता ही नहीं है, इसका तो फर्जी नाम लग रहा है, या इस आदमी का नाम ऐड होना है, वगैरह वगैरह। ये सबसे ठोस तरीका होता है सोशल ऑडिट का। और पहले एक बार जब लिंगडो साहब सेंट्रल चीफ इंफॉर्मेशन कमिश्नर थे तो राजस्थान में कराया गया था, तो 7 लाख लोगों के नाम लिस्ट से हटाए गए क्योंकि सोशल ऑडिट करवाया गया। वो भी नहीं ये लोग करना चाहते हैं। तो साफ दिख रहा है कि इलेक्शन कमीशन, जो कि सबको पता है कि सरकार का पिट्ठू बन चुका है, वो ऑब्जेक्ट इनका यही है कि आर्बिट्ररी पावर रखो, पारदर्शिता ना रखो, और जिसका चाहे नाम हटा दो। और मेनली ये मुसलमानों का नाम हटाना चाहते हैं, मुसलमानों का, ईसाइयों का, जो नॉन हिंदू लोग हैं उनका नाम मेनली हटाना चाहते हैं। लेकिन कुछ कुछ, क्योंकि सुप्रीम कोर्ट में केस चल रहा है, सुनवाई चल रही है, तो थोड़ा बहुत उसकी वजह से ब्रेक लगा हुआ है, पुश बैक हो रहा है। तो पूरा वो तो शायद नहीं कर पाएंगे जो करना चाहते हैं, लेकिन इनकी कोशिश यही लग रही है। यहीं पर मैं अपनी बात खत्म करूंगा। थैंक यू।
Prashant, just one point of order. I didn't want to interrupt you, but there are a lot of speakers in the South who actually said that can something be said in English. So I think a couple of us are continuously writing what Prashant was saying. So do you think, looking at the time factor, we move on to Yogendra? Or we don't want to disappoint anyone. Should we just move on? Friends who were writing, can you respond?
Yeah, I can quickly summarize what I was saying in English very quickly. You see, what
Yeah,
I said was
in very, very fast, in 2, 3 minutes,
very,
because,
yeah.
yeah.
So, firstly, this is an unprecedented intensive revision. Never before in the history of this country has a fresh voters list been prepared, except in the first election, 1950-52. This time they are preparing a fresh voters list and they are saying everybody has to fill an enumeration form. Whoever doesn't fill it will be removed from the voters list. Secondly, for the first time, they are asking for documents, a set of 11 documents plus Aadhaar, which is the 12th document, which is birth certificate, citizenship certificate, passport, matriculation certificate, etc. And they are also saying that they will check citizenship in this intensive revision, though earlier they have said that no, citizenship checking is not the job of the Election Commission, that's the job of the Foreigners Tribunal or the courts or the government of India. So, in that respect, it's an unprecedented exercise that they are doing. Secondly, they have no standards for checking citizenship. If they go on the basis of documents, then most people will be out, or at least a significant percentage of the people will be out. That because in this poor country, most people don't have these documents. So what I believe is, you see, they are trying to do through the SIR what they tried to do through the NRC. NRC exercise was also intended to remove Muslims from the National Register of Citizens on the basis that they have no documents to prove that they are citizens. Now, the Supreme Court in Lal Babu Hussain, a judgment of 1995, said that, look, Election Commission cannot ask the person to prove that he is a citizen. If you are saying that he is not a citizen, you have to prove that he is not a citizen and tell him, give him a show cause notice and an opportunity, and give him why you are saying that he is not a citizen, etc. And that is why you see in the form for registering a new voter, there are three things you have to show. One, that you are a resident of this area for which you can give any document, including Aadhaar. Two, that your age is above 18 for which you can give any document, including Aadhaar. And third, for citizenship, you only have to give a self-declaration. No document is required for that. But they are now saying that no, we will look at documents to see citizenship. So therefore, what they are trying to do is to basically do another NRC through this process of SIR, etc. Then, of course, they are not doing any transparency in this exercise. They have not given the various lists. The voters list is not being given in a machine readable form so that you can check for duplicates or check for various names, etc. They are not giving the list of the voters that they have deleted. They are not giving the lists of voters that they have added. Being done in a totally non-transparent manner. And they are not even doing social audit, which is the surest way of determining who is a citizen. That is, you call a meeting of all the people of that particular booth and then read out the names one by one, and people will tell you that so and so has moved out, so and so has died, so and so is a new voter, so and so was never here, etc. And in that way, when social audit was done in Rajasthan in some 2003 or so, 7 lakh names were deleted because of the social audit. They are not doing that, but Election Commission wants this arbitrary power, and that's what they are trying to do, because Election Commission is now seen as a complete
Just a
toady.
minute, Prashant, if you could just throw. So, Prashant, I think just before Yogendra starts, if you could just, you did state it in Hindi. Radhika Desai asks, how does the case stand in the Supreme Court? You said it. If you could just say it
So,
once again
yeah,
in
so the
English.
cases are being heard. So, they were earlier being heard in a very spasmodic manner, one hearing after a week, and weekly hearings, or sometimes twice a week, but half an hour, 1 hour, 1.5 hours, etc. Now there is some systematic hearing which has started. They are hearing it somewhat systematically. Now they will resume the hearing on Tuesday, but it will go on, I think, for a few more weeks before the hearings conclude and before they decide the matter finally. They are hearing now the challenge to the whole SIR of all the states, etc. That's where it stands. Yeah, I'll
So
end here.
thank you, Prashant ji. Please stay with us. We also have Yogendra ji, and there are some states. Yeah, and we do have some states, yeah, who, representative of states who would like to share a few things. Before that, Yogendra ji, the floor is yours. You don't need to be introduced. I've already shared about you. Please just go ahead. And of course, if you could just, tell us, Yogendra ji, what do you think? You went in and out of Bihar. What do you think is the impact on the ground? And what was actually achieved? What have we learned? The Bihar exercise was looked at you microscopically, along with many others. What is it that you think happened in Bihar, along with the fact that actually, what is the design of the SIR? What is it actually? If you could tell us, does it change the electoral architecture? Please go ahead with some of these questions.
Thank you, Kavita. And thanks to all the friends from PUCL. Allow me to begin with an advertisement, which is a common advertisement, which is that PUCL, NAPM, and Bharat Jodo Abhiyan are together organizing a national convention on this issue on the 20th of December in Constitution Club from 10 to 5. This will happen. You're all welcome. And I'm very happy to announce that Prashant Bhushan would be our inaugural speaker there. We would have colleagues from all over the country, these 14 states where SIR has happened or is happening. We would have them all. I read that very powerful report from various PUCL groups from different states. So yeah, that's the kind of voice which is not yet available throughout the country, and a voice that we want to bring out. So I just thought I should begin by mentioning that, just in case someone forgets. 20 दिसंबर को दिल्ली में कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन क्लब में एक नेशनल कन्वेंशन का आयोजन किया है। भारत जोड़ो अभियान, नेशनल NAPM और PUCL सबकी तरफ से ऑर्गेनाइज किया गया है। तो हम ही ऑर्गेनाइजर हैं, हम सबका वहां स्वागत है। Let me now turn to the question Kavita had asked, and I'll mix Hindi and English. The bullet point summary I'll give in English, and then I'll explain that in Hindi so as to make it somewhat clearer. Okay, so let me begin where Prashantji left. Just to make it simple, formulaic, point-wise thing, let me begin by saying something very simple and elementary for everyone to remember. Let us remember what SIR is not. 4 simple basic things for everyone to remember. Because the experience of Bihar that Kavita has asked me about has demonstrated that SIR is not these 4 things. Number 1, SIR is not a revision of voters list. It is a de novo, fresh writing of the voters list, something that Prashantji had explained. So, पहली चीज SIR के बारे में जो जानने की जरूरत है कि SIR एक रिवीजन नहीं है। बार बार चुनाव आयोग कहता है रिवीजन कर रहे हैं। रिवीजन वो होता है जहां हम पुरानी लिस्ट को लेकर हम अपनी बात उसमें कुछ ऐड करें, उसमें कुछ डिलीट करें, वो रिवीजन होता है। ऐसा हमेशा होता आया है। इस बार रिवीजन नहीं है, कोरे कागज पर फ्रेश लिस्ट बन रही है। आपका नाम 20 साल से वोटर लिस्ट में था नहीं था, इसका कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा। बिल्कुल नए सिरे से वोटर लिस्ट बनेगी, जैसी 1950 के बाद कभी नहीं बनी है। सो पहली बात ये याद रखने की है। दूसरी बात जो याद रखने की है कि ये कोई पुरानी एक्सरसाइज का रिपीटिशन नहीं है। बार बार चुनाव आयोग ये झूठ बोलता है। SIR बार बार होता रहा है, 8 बार हो गया है, पिछली बार 2003 में हुआ था, अब हम उसे दोबारा कर रहे हैं, 20 साल बाद वोटर लिस्ट की सफाई कर रहे हैं। ये टोटल झूठ है, क्योंकि जैसा कि प्रशांत भूषण जी ने बताया, आज तक इस देश के इतिहास में कभी भी इस तरह की SIR नहीं हुई है। इसके कानूनी पक्ष प्रशांत जी बता चुके हैं। मैं सिंपल मोटी बात बताता हूं। आज तक कभी भी लोगों से ये नहीं कहा गया है कि आपका नाम वोटर लिस्ट में था, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, अब नए सिरे से एन्यूमरेशन फॉर्म भरो, अगर नहीं भरोगे तो तुम्हारा नाम कट जाएगा। ऐसा कभी नहीं हुआ है। एन्यूमरेशन फॉर्म आज तक कभी नहीं भरवाए गए हैं हर वोटर से, उनसे भी जिनका नाम पुरानी लिस्ट में था। कभी नहीं होता था ऐसा। केवल जो व्यक्ति नए वोटर बनना चाहते थे उनसे फॉर्म भरवाया जाता था। नंबर 2, आज तक कभी भी वोटर से नहीं कहा गया है कि तुम अपनी सिटीजनशिप साबित करो। जब तक साबित नहीं करोगे हम मान के चलेंगे कि तुम नॉन सिटीजन हो। जैसा प्रशांत भूषण जी ने बताया, आज तक रूल ये था कि अगर आप राजस्थान में हैं, जयपुर में रहते हैं, तो आप प्रिजम्पशन था कि आप सिटीजन हैं। अगर कोई दूसरा व्यक्ति एविडेंस दिखाएगा कि आप नहीं है, तब सवाल आपसे पूछा जा सकता है। ये 2 चीजें पहली बार हैं, अनप्रेसिडेंटेड है। और मजे की बात याद रखिए, इस बात को छुपाने के लिए चुनाव आयोग ने हर संभव कोशिश की। चुनाव आयोग ने बताया नहीं कि 2002 के गाइडलाइन क्या थे। जब लोगों ने RTI में मांगा, अंजलि भारद्वाज ने RTI में मांगा, don't worry, I'll repeat every single thing that I'm saying in English. Please don't worry about that. I'm just mixing it. अंजलि भारद्वाज ने पूछा आरटीआई में कि बताइए कि ये 2002 की गाइडलाइन हमें दिखा तो दीजिए। चुनाव आयोग ने इनकार कर दिया। चुनाव आयोग ने 3 महीने तक इस गाइडलाइन को अपनी वेबसाइट से उतार के रखा, दिखाया नहीं, सुप्रीम कोर्ट में पेश नहीं किया, आरटीआई में नहीं दिया। वो तो हम लोगों ने ढूंढ के निकाला और प्रशांत भूषण ने उसे सुप्रीम कोर्ट में रख के दिखाया, बताया कि एक भी जो चीज आज हो रही है वो पहले नहीं हुई थी। सो माय सेकंड पॉइंट वाज दैट the SIR of today is not a repetition of something that happened in the past. It is absolutely unprecedented. Election Commission keeps repeating a lie that, we had carried it out in 2002-3. We are simply reiterating that. It's a routine process. It's a thorough, intensive process. No, nothing of that kind. That's complete lie, because Election Commission had very carefully hidden the 2002 order. They removed it from the website. They did not give it on under RTI when Anjali Bharadwaj requested them. They did not produce it to the Supreme Court, because the simple fact is that in 2002-3, what they did was entirely different from what it is being done today. In 2 respects, it is absolutely unprecedented. Number one, never before in the history of this country have people been asked to fill an enumeration form. Those who are already existing on the voters list have never been asked to fill a form. This is happening for the first time. And number 2, the presumption of citizenship has been reversed for the first time. Earlier, the presumption was that you are a citizen of India. Someone else has to prove that you are not. Now the presumption is that you have to prove it. Unless you prove it, you are assumed to be a foreigner. Now, that's a very dangerous thing. So that's the second new thing, that is the second point to remember. The third point to remember about what SIR is not, it is not an attempt to clean the electoral list. This is the third lie that Election Commission keeps telling you all the time. We are just cleaning it up. There were dead names. There were problems. We are improving the accuracy of the list. Nothing of that kind. And I give very simple evidence. And all these evidence were produced in the Supreme Court by ADR, by Prashant Bhushan ji, some of them by me, that in Bihar, I'll take the example of Bihar. If Election Commission was serious about removing inaccuracies, what would they do? They should have used a deduplication software. They should have removed duplicate names. That's the easiest thing. This can be done on computer, on desktop. No, they did not do it. There were more than, in the final voters list used in Bihar, there were more than 5 lakh duplicate names within a constituency. The same name, same father's name, same age, same everything in the same constituency. And if you allow for duplication across constituencies in Bihar, then the number was as high as 59 lakh. The Election Commission did nothing to correct it. In fact, even the small instances that we produced in the Supreme Court, we showed the photograph is the same, the person name is same constituency. Even those things were not removed in the final list that was used in the election of Bihar. We showed that there were about 75,000 blank and gibberish names, which is to say name blank, no nothing, no information, father's name blank, or name just e ki matra, nothing, name ma. This is how it was. 75,000 names. Election Commission did nothing to change it. The voters list which was used on the day of election contained all these problems which were pointed out in the Supreme Court. They have no interest in this. Election Commission's own rule says that in one house, if you have more than 10 voters, then you should go and physically verify it, because prima facie it's a problematic case. Election Commission did not do it, and there were 21 lakh such houses in Bihar containing more than 3 crore voters of Bihar. They were not checked. So Election Commission has no interest in cleaning up the electoral rolls. As a matter of fact, the CEC himself said that we don't need a deduplication software, which is provided for in their own manual. Prashantji has showed that in the court itself. So तीसरी बात जो याद रखने की है वो ये कि ये कोई वोटर लिस्ट को साफ करने, उसमें गलतियों को सुधार करने की एक्सरसाइज बिल्कुल नहीं है, क्योंकि चुनाव आयोग को इसमें कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं है। हमने तमाम तरह की गलतियां दिखाई, कोर्ट के अंदर दिखाई। हमने दिखाया कि लोगों का 75,000 लोगों का नाम ब्लैंक था वोटर्स लिस्ट में। हमने दिखाया कि 5 लाख नाम डुप्लीकेट थे बिहार में। हमने दिखाया कि 21 लाख मकान ऐसे थे जहां 10 से ज्यादा वोटर थे। चुनाव आयोग ने इनमें सुधार की कोई कोशिश नहीं की। इनफैक्ट हमने ये भी दिखाया कि बिहार की वोटर लिस्ट में नाम कन्नड़ और तमिल लिपि में लिखे हुए थे। वी एक्चुअली शोड एग्जांपल्स ऑफ बिहार वोटर लिस्ट where some names were written in Kannada and Tamil. Even those corrections were not made by the Election Commission in the case of the list that went to polls. वहां पर भी सुधार नहीं किया गया। तो इसलिए मैं कहता हूं उनको कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं है अपने वोटर लिस्ट में सफाई में। जैसा मैं हिंदी में मजाक में कहता हूं, ये वोटर लिस्ट की सफाई का काम नहीं है, वोटर लिस्ट का सफाया करने का काम है, उसमें से कुछ लोगों का सफाया करने का काम है। और चौथी बात जो ये नहीं है वो ये है कि इसका घुसपैठियों, विदेशियों, बांग्लादेशियों को निकालने से कोई मतलब नहीं है। ये बिल्कुल शुद्ध बात चलाई जा रही है हमारे को एक तरह से पूरे देश को भ्रम में डालने के लिए। आपको याद होगा बिहार में इतना हल्ला किया गया कि बांग्लादेशी निकलेंगे, रोहिंग्या निकलेंगे, उनको हमें बाहर निकालना है। और आखिर में क्या हुआ? जब उनसे पूछा गया कि भाई कितने निकले बता दीजिए ना, एक जवाब नहीं। चुनाव आयोग की तरफ से जवाब नहीं, सरकार की तरफ से जवाब नहीं। मैं सरकार का नाम इसलिए लेता हूं क्योंकि एसआईआर के आदेश के हिसाब से अगर कोई फॉरेनर निकलता है तो उसका नाम अप्रोप्रिएट अथॉरिटीज को फॉरवर्ड करना होगा। तो सरकार भी बता सकती है कि कितने फॉरेनर आए। कोई जवाब नहीं बताता है क्योंकि मिले ही नहीं। और सच बात जो मेरी जानकारी है वो ये है कि कुछ 100 लोगों को, सैकड़ों कुछ लोग थे जिनको इस ग्राउंड पे निकाला गया। ना वो बांग्लादेशी थे, ना वो रोहिंग्या थे, वो दरअसल नेपाल से आई हुई औरतें थी। और इसका अगर आपको अंतिम प्रूफ चाहिए कि इनको फॉरेनर्स में कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, तो उसका अंतिम प्रूफ ये है कि आप असम की एसआईआर को देख लीजिए। अगर इस देश में फॉरेनर्स का इशू है, कहीं पे भी डिस्प्यूट है, मैं उसमें डिस्प्यूट में कोई पोजीशन नहीं ले रहा, डिस्प्यूट है तो असम में है। अगर पूरे देश में कहीं भी सिटीजनशिप का चेक करना था, अगर चेक करना है तो असम में सबसे पहले होना चाहिए था। लेकिन असम के एसआईआर में इन्होंने बड़ा यूनिक ऑर्डर निकाला है। असम में आपको एन्यूमरेशन फॉर्म भरने की जरूरत नहीं है, आपको डॉक्यूमेंट देने की जरूरत नहीं है, कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं है। असम इसे बिल्कुल एक अलग तरीके से होगा। क्यों? क्योंकि असम में अगर विदेशियों का नाम निकाल दिया, जिनको ये विदेशी कहते हैं, 19 लाख लोग आए हैं और 19 लाख में से सिर्फ 7 लाख मुसलमान हैं और 12 लाख हिंदू हैं, तो किसे ज्यादा नुकसान होगा? बीजेपी को। इसलिए वो नहीं हो रहा है। तो इन्हें विदेशियों को निकालने में भी कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं है। So the fourth point that I was making was that SIR has nothing to do with wanting to eliminate illegal foreigners. Now, whether it should be done, should not be done, is all kind of a debate. For the time being, I'm assuming that yes. And in any case, of course, it is a established position that no foreigner can be a voter in India. Perfect. But are they serious about it? No. There was such propaganda about it in Bihar that, where there are lakhs and lakhs of foreigners in the Simanchal area of Bihar. After the SIR, how many were caught? No response whatsoever. Repeatedly it was asked. It was asked in the press conference. It was asked by everyone on every platform. The Election Commission refused to give any numbers at all because there were none. My information is that a few hundred people were deleted, a few hundred names were deleted in Bihar, on the ground of being foreigners. And these were not Bangladeshis or Rohingyas. These were Nepali women, Hindu Nepali women who have come and have married in India and who could not prove their citizenship. That is actually all that happened. So the whole thing is a propaganda. There's absolutely no basis. And in any case, if they were serious about, in the case of about illegal foreigners, then the one state where they should have carried out SIR thoroughly was Assam. But in Assam, they have come up with a very extraordinary order. They are saying we will check citizenship in all states of India, but not in Assam. In Assam, you don't have to fill any enumeration form. You don't have to give any document. Bus, the BLO will come to your house, will take the names and go back, and that's SIR. It's over. This is strange. So there was actually, so that only goes on to prove that they have no interest in checking of illegal foreigners at all. So my simple submission is, please remember, and I want all of us to tell this to everyone because I'm speaking to opinion makers. Every one of us can take this message forward. So the simple formulation is SIR is not a revision of voters list. SIR is not a set older exercise which is being reiterated. SIR is not about cleaning the voters list. SIR is not about removing illegal foreigners. So what is the SIR about? It is about disenfranchisement. It is about doing NRC from the back door, a point that Prashantji said. And this is what the Bihar experience showed us. Bihar showed us that in Bihar alone, there has been a disenfranchisement of a scale which we have never witnessed in the history of this country. I want all of us to remember something very important, because usually election commission, media, BJP supporters, they all say, well, there are some, there are all kinds of inaccuracies in voters list. Voters list are inflated. So we need to throw a few lakh names out so that the voters list become proper. Now, what is the way of checking whether voter list is inflated or correct? The simple measure which is used by election commission all these years, and a method that we used, is okay, if we know that voters list of Bihar has 7 crore 790 lakh votes, how do we assess it? The way to assess it is to look at population figures, because we know what the adult population of Bihar is, and that is based on Government of India's own projection. So the starting point should not be how many people are on the voters list. The starting point should be how many adult persons live in Bihar. The answer is 8 crore 20 lakhs. Okay, how many people were there on the voters list? And mind you, this is Government of India's own official projections of population. I can send you figures for each of the states of India. You can compare it yourself. So 8 crore 20 lakh adults were in Bihar in the month of, let's say, August of this year. How many people were on the voters list? On the voters list, when SIR began, we had 7 crore 89 lakh people. So what should a good SIR revision of excise, what should a good revision of voters list be like? Well, it should move from 7.89 towards 8.2. What happened in reality? Exactly the opposite. Instead of covering up the deficiency, the SIR increased the deficiency. So instead of moving from 7.89 towards 8.22, we went down from 7.89 finally to 7.45. So people might, everyone says, all right, so we finally had 44 lakh names were reduced. But my point is, no, it's not just 44 lakhs. The total deficit is almost 80 lakhs, 44 plus 31 lakh names that should have been added. So we are actually looking at 75 lakh names deficit in Bihar. So please remember, SIR led to a reduction of, led to increase in the deficit of 75 lakh voters in Bihar. This is unprecedented in the history of this country. Number two, SIR led to a disproportionate exclusion of women and Muslims, for both of which we have evidence. We have submitted the evidence in the Supreme Court. For in Bihar, for every 1,000 men on the voters list, there were 916 women, from what I recall, on the voters list when SIR began. And at the end of the SIR, for every 1,000 men, we have 894 women. So SIR has actually led to a reduction in the proportion of women. We have shown in the Supreme Court that at least 7 lakh women who should have been on the voters list have been thrown out because of SIR alone. We have also demonstrated that in the exclusion in SIR, Muslims have been disproportionately excluded. Muslims are about 18% of Bihar's population, but among the 65 lakh people who were excluded, Muslims were 25%. Among the people whose names were deleted after the draft list, Muslims were 32%. So there is a disproportionate exclusion of women, of Muslims as well. So that is why I would, we should have expected that the conclusion of SIR in Bihar should lead to introspection, should lead the Election Commission to revisit and say, okay, we made a mistake. Things did not turn out the way we wanted them to be. So we have to, they would just, reformulate their order substantially. Sadly, nothing of that kind happened. The Election Commission learned no lesson whatsoever from Bihar exercise and has actually, apart from making a few minor changes in order to make Election Commission's own life easy, they have made changes, but those changes are mainly about making things easy for the Election Commission itself. But they have not made any fundamental change which was required. And that is the same story is being repeated now all over the country. So मेरा आखिरी पॉइंट ये था कि चुनाव आयोग अगर ये सब नहीं है, SIR अगर ये सब नहीं है जो मैंने कहा, तो क्या है? SIR डिसएनफ्रेंचाइजमेंट है, वोट बंदी है, वोट काटने की इस देश के इतिहास की सबसे बड़ी एक्सरसाइज है। बिहार जिसका एक प्रमाण है। बिहार में जब SIR शुरू हुआ, उस वक्त बिहार की एडल्ट पॉपुलेशन 8 करोड़ 22 लाख के करीब थी। उस वक्त बिहार में वोटर लिस्ट में 7 करोड़ 89 लाख लोग थे। एक अच्छी SIR में होना क्या चाहिए था? 7 करोड़ 89 के बजाय 8 करोड़ 22 की तरफ जाते। हुआ क्या? बिल्कुल उल्टा हुआ। वोटरों की संख्या 7 करोड़ 89 लाख से घटकर 7 करोड़ 45 लाख हो गई। तो इस तरह से बिहार में देश के इतिहास में और शायद दुनिया के इतिहास में सबसे ज्यादा संख्या में एक झटके में वोट काटने का काम जो हुआ है वो बिहार में हुआ है। इसके शिकार महिलाएं और मुस्लिम ज्यादा हुए हैं। बिहार में महिलाओं का जो अनुपात था वोटर लिस्ट में वो SIR की वजह से गिर गया, और जितने वोट कटे हैं उसमें मुसलमानों का अनुपात बिहार में 18% है, लेकिन जो 65 लाख लोगों का एक्सक्लूजन हुआ उसमें से मुसलमान 25% थे। जो बाद में नाम डिलीट हुए उसमें मुसलमान 32% थे, तो जाहिर है उनका ज्यादा एक्सक्लूजन हुआ। तो SIR के अनुभव से चुनाव आयोग को जो सीखना चाहिए था वो ये कि बहुत बड़ी गलती हुई है, आगे से न दोहराई जाए, बचा जाए, इस स्कीम को पूरी तरह से रिवाइज किया जाए। दुर्भाग्यवश चुनाव आयोग ने वैसा कुछ भी इस निष्कर्ष निकालने की बजाय इसको पूरे देश पर लागू कर दिया, और पूरे देश से अब जो खबरें आ रही हैं वो एग्जैक्टली वो सब चीजें हैं जो बिहार में हुई थी। इसलिए इसका विरोध करना, इसलिए इसके खिलाफ खड़े होना और इसलिए पूरे देश को जागरूक करना बेहद जरूरी है। Sorry, Kavita, I took a little extra time, but I thought I'll do Hindi and English together and do the
No.
overall picture.
Thank you so much, Yogendra. I think you were really, really succinct, and you really put all the issues uh, very pinpointedly for everybody to understand how SIR 2.0 is is perhaps a fate worse, if not, there's been no improvement. If the improvement has happened, it's for the ECI itself to make its own work system easier, but nothing for the people. The misery continues. So now we would like to very quickly hear some of our state participants, because everybody is going through such turmoil that they also need a platform. We did put together that note which you read, but Yogendra and Prashantji, if you can continue being with us, there are several questions that are coming up for both of you. You must have seen if you scroll up. But very quickly, if in 4 to 5 minutes each speaker tells us something specific about their state, something that perhaps confirms the same or something unique, not taking more than 4 5 minutes. अगर आप लोग रुकेंगे हमारे साथ, Yogendra ji, or do people agree that we just hold on to our questions and very quickly run through it? Let's start with West Bengal. Is Jhuma there? Jhuma, have you joined us? Aishwarya, is Jhuma there?
She left, Kavita.
Okay, so let's take the next stage. Let's start with Madhya Pradesh. Madhuri, please go ahead.
हाँ जी, देखिए ये परेशानी जो हर जगह है वो तो एमपी में भी है, सबको मालूम है क्या क्या परेशानियां हैं। लेकिन दो तीन चीजें जो शायद ट्राइबल एरियाज का अलग है उसके बारे में बताना चाह रही हूँ। एक तो हमेशा से होता आया जो आंतरिक उपनिवेशवाद है, इंटरनल कॉलोनाइजेशन, जिसमें ट्राइबल कल्चर और नॉन ट्राइबल कल्चर में बहुत बड़ा फासला है। तो जो नाम जो लिखे जाते हैं किसी भी डॉक्यूमेंट्स में, वो जो नॉन ट्राइबल ऑफिसर उसको लिखता है तो वो नाम बदल जाता है। तो अधिकांश ट्राइबल्स के सभी डॉक्यूमेंट्स में अलग अलग नाम है। ये बहुत बड़ी समस्या है। दूसरा, जो दूसरे राज्यों में जो शादियां हुई है, महाराष्ट्र में हुई से बहुएं आई हैं इत्यादि, तो वो एक मतलब महिलाओं का जो समस्या है वो तो जैसे हर जगह का है ही कि मायके से ट्रेस करना बहुत मुश्किल है। ट्राइबल महिलाओं के लिए और भी मुश्किल हो जाता है, क्योंकि एक तो डॉक्यूमेंट्स होते नहीं है, दूसरे जो डॉक्यूमेंट्स हैं उसमें नाम अलग है, तीसरा जो है माइग्रेशन है। ये सीजन है जब पीक माइग्रेशन पर है, मतलब लोग अपने गांव में है ही नहीं। लगभग 50% से ज्यादा गांव खाली है और वो आसपास नहीं गए हैं, बहुत दूर दराज क्षेत्रों में गए हैं। तो ये जो इस समय जो होना, इसमें से ट्राइबल पॉपुलेशन का काटा जाना बहुत मतलब ये बहुत बहुत ही मुश्किल है ट्राइबल वोटर्स को का नाम अभी इस समय दर्ज करना। दूसरा जो समस्या है, जो प्रशांत भाई, योगेंद्र भाई ने जो बताया था, फेक वोटर्स का। फेक वोटर्स लाखों के संख्या में हैं। अब उनका जो है आप कैसे निकालोगे हमें मालूम नहीं। हम तो सिर्फ ये दो तीन चीजें, ये तो बहुत सारी समस्या है जो हर जगह कॉमन होगा, तो उसमें मैं उस पर समय नहीं गवाऊंगी। लेकिन जो दो चीजें जो हम जानना चाह रहे हैं कि आगे करने के लिए, एक तो 16 तारीख को जब लिस्ट प्रकाशित होगा तो युद्ध स्तर पर उस लिस्ट को एग्जामिन करना और उसको चैलेंज करना एक काम रहेगा। जिसके बाद भी अगर नाम नहीं जोड़े गए तो कोर्ट में क्या संभावना है फॉर फेक वोटर्स के बारे में और छूटे हुए नाम के बारे में। क्या जो बिहार में जो कोर्ट बिल्कुल फेल हो गई थी, अभी क्या कुछ संभावना बची है अपने कोर्ट्स में कि इसको ये किया जा सकता है? मुझे लग रहा है कि उसके बारे में भी हम थोड़ा इस मीटिंग में बात करें। कुछ चीजें हैं जो बहुत ही क्लियर है, जैसे फॉर्म 7 जो है, जो डिलीट करने का फॉर्म है, वो तो हर बीएलओ को दिया गया है, लेकिन फॉर्म 6 जो जोड़ने वाला है वो किसी को नहीं दिया गया है। फॉर्म 8 भी शायद नहीं दिया गया, लेकिन फॉर्म 6 तो कहीं पर भी नहीं दिया गया है। जो प्राप्तियां देनी है, जो रिसीट देनी है, वो रिसीट्स नहीं दिए जा रहे हैं, इत्यादि बहुत सारी लैक्यूनस जो है वो तो है ही। तो मेरे ख्याल से काफी सारे लोग हैं जो अपना अनुभव बताना चाहेंगे, तो मैं और इसमें समय नहीं लूंगी। लेकिन सिर्फ ये कि जो ये एक बात है कि मुसलमानों का नाम काटना। मैं एक ट्राइबल एरिया में रहती हूँ, बड़वानी जिला, जो जिसका बहुत लंबा कम्युनल इतिहास नहीं है। इनफैक्ट वो उन कम जगहों में से है जहां पर बाबरी मस्जिद का कभी विवाह टेंशन नहीं रहा है। ऐसी जगह जो बहुत ज्यादा कम्युनल नहीं है, वहां पर भी बीएलओस बोल रहे करना क्या है, मुसलमानों का नाम ही तो काटना है। और दूसरा, जो बीएलओस हैं, आंगनवाड़ी कार्यकर्ता, बहुत सारों को फोन चलाना नहीं आता है, बहुत सारे इस प्रकार के नहीं कर पाते हैं, जो मैपिंग का जो पूरा प्रोसेस रहा है वो नहीं कर पाई है। टीचर्स हमारे ट्राइबल एरियाज में वैसे भी जो है ना, स्कूलें बहुत मुश्किल से चल पाती है, टीचर्स है ही नहीं, है तो अटेंड नहीं करते, मतलब शिक्षा का हालत बहुत खराब है। लेकिन अभी पूरे टीचर्स को पुल आउट किया गया है, स्कूल से निकाल के इसमें डाल दिया गया है। परीक्षा का समय है, तो शिक्षा व्यवस्था जो चरमरा रहा था पहले से, अभी तो पूरी तरह से ठप हो गया है। आंगनवाड़ी नहीं चल रहा है, स्कूलें नहीं चल रही हैं। तो ये जो स्थिति है, ये मतलब एक अतिरिक्त जो समस्या जो खड़ी हुई है, इसके बारे में भी मुझे लग रहा है कि हम कभी कहीं ना कहीं इसको चुनौती देना चाहेंगे, लेकिन हमें समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि इसको हम कैसे करें। और मेरे ख्याल से वही है कि
Yeah.
अब तो गांव में है नहीं। दूसरा, जो हमारा पहले से प्रशासनिक व्यवस्था था वो चरमरा रहा था, अभी तो पूरे तरह से ठप हो गया है। लोगों के पास डॉक्यूमेंट्स नहीं है, महिलाओं का तो हर
Yeah. So
हर
I think
जगह
Madhuri,
पे। या ओके
yeah,
फाइन,
you
या
really put it well.
या
I think Madhuri has left us with two questions. Uh, One is the problem seemed to be no questions, Asha. Just put your question on the chat. We are not going to take questions just now. Uh, so I think the issue of if the people's names don't come in the draft list, and then we'll try through the claims and objections and still they don't come in, what do we do? Is it worth going and challenging any further in the courts, or can the courts still be of use? This is one major question, because the courts just did not help Bihar, as Yogendra and Prashant so clearly have put it. Will the courts help any further? And as Prashant told us, the final arguments on the constitutionality and legality of SIR are underway. अभी तो संवैधानिक आर्ग्यूमेंट चल रहा है कोर्ट में। एक बार वो हो जाएगा तो अन्य राज्यों में जो चल रहा है उनके लिए क्या बचेगा अदालत जाने के लिए, अनलेस वो कहते हैं ये बिल्कुल असंवैधानिक एक्सरसाइज रही। ये कुछ बहुत ज़रूरी सवाल माधुरी ने उठाए हैं, और ये भी कि जिस तरीके से बीएलओज पूरी शिक्षा व्यवस्था और आंगनवाड़ी उतारा गया है। एक ऑलरेडी शिक्षा व्यवस्था एकदम चरमरा गई और कोलैप्स हो गई, पहले से ही टूटी हुई थी और अब एकदम चरमरा गई। तो ये दिस होल कोलैप्स and what has happened to our children are very serious issues. I mean, I don't know whether we can call it collateral damage. I think it's a consequence. It's a consequence by design to break the system actually, and to put everybody what Prashant tried to tell us. Just have this chaos, this noise, this kind of running this race, and actually then nothing much can be done. Keep people very active, busy. Anyway, so these are some of the questions Madhuri has raised very quickly. I've told Sarfaraz to come in any time. Maybe Sarfaraz can tell us how they manage claims and objections, because most of us of our states are going to enter claims and objections. Let's go ahead with Albertina from Goa. Albertina, please go ahead and show us your face if
Okay.
you can.
Yeah. Yes. So as far as Goa is concerned, most usually, in terms of Goans as such, the documents may not be an issue. But just now, first of all, I'd like to raise a legal point, because during CAA 2019, Goa has first of all got a disproportionate number of OCIs. And CAA 2019 already set some sort of a precedent of arbitrarily setting up mechanisms for cancelling OCI registration. Now, that may be a different issue, but what I'm trying to say is that already this kind of precedent has been set through these other laws. And if we do not resist it now, they will be doing this with every other law. They will be instituting some kind of mechanism to determine something that that body is not supposed to do. So that's one thing as far as the law point is concerned. Now, as regards the specificities, I'm not going into the many other issues that others have raised. They apply here as well. But no, SIR is not cancelling OCI cards, but what I'm trying to say is SIR is another body now that is arbitrarily using, one mechanism is another process by which one mechanism is being used to determine something else. Like in OCI card cancellation, it was being used to determine, whether somebody has committed an offense or not, and because of which violation they would want to cancel the OCI card. So that's one thing. The second thing I wanted to say was as regards, culture specific things. Now, Madhuri just spoke about how there's kind of some internal colonization with when it comes to tribals. Now, we have had another kind of internal colonization where people do not know our systems of names. So, for example, my uncle has been registered, he's in the 2002 SIR, which I just now, 2002 rolls, which I just discovered, where his middle name is his father's name, which is not the culture here. For a Catholic, the father's name is not the middle name. So now what happens in this situation is that, people will have a difficulty. Now, he was a bachelor, but that's a different story. But what I'm trying to say is, like, if his progeny now, if a progeny of somebody whose name is longly written like this are trying to get their name onto electoral roll because there's that space for relatives, they're not going to be able to, because there is problems of names. Something of like what Madhuri is talking about, but in a different sort of scenario. So this is another issue that's arising. The third thing is that although they were not supposed to ask for documents at this stage, there have been reports that in some places they've asked them to show their passport, which is because the again, as I see it, this is an effort to disenfranchise. There is this whole presumption that a lot of minorities specifically have taken Portuguese passports, and they're like trying to kind of bully people into showing the passport. Now, everybody doesn't have a passport, so what will they show in the first place? Even at that next stage, what will they show? So this is another issue, to understand what are the hidden agendas here. And yet another issue is about, okay, when some groups have been creating awareness about SIR, and in one place there was police deployed when they were creating awareness, because they do not appreciate this awareness being created about SIR. So these are various issues. There's a lot more, but I'm just trying to point out some of the specifics as far as Goa is concerned, where each place there are culture specificities in how names are included, and in terms of how names are written, and that's not been understood. And then for the fault that has happened in 2002, we are kind of now many people may be paying the price for it. So these are just some of the things that I wanted to raise from Goa. Apart from the issue that which is a larger issue, and I do not see why the electoral roll should be determining. I mean, the election authority should be determining citizenship, but we have a larger issue about dual citizenship because of Goa's specific entry into the Indian Union, which remains unaddressed, and it's like they're trying to use this as a buggy now, to as a stick to further beat Goans with.
तो अल्बर्टीना का मैं बहुत संक्षिप्त में बोलती हूँ कि गोवा की एक खासियत है और सांस्कृतिक खासियत है, क्योंकि गोवा में सबके पास डॉक्यूमेंट्स है, वो वाला जो पूरे देश भर में खास तौर से ग्रामीण और आदिवासी अंचल में या गरीब के बीच में जो होता है, वो शायद गोवा में नहीं दिख रहा है। लेकिन गोवा में ये ज़रूर क्लियरली, हाँ, गोवंस का ये जरूर दिख रहा है, क्योंकि वहां पे दो आप नागरिकता रख सकते हैं। उनके जिस तरह का इतिहास रहा है उसको लेके अब ये ईसीआई उस चीज का बिल्कुल अथॉरिटी नहीं है उसको चेक करना, एग्जामिन करना, लेकिन ईसीआई एक तरीके से अपना प्रोसेस यूज कर रहा है उसके विरुद्ध भी। और साथ साथ ईसीआई माइनॉरिटीज़ जो वहाँ ज़्यादा, मैं प्रिज्यूम कर रही हूँ क्रिश्चियन माइनॉरिटीज़ हैं, उनके भी पीछे पड़ा हुआ है कि आप जो डॉक्यूमेंट दिखाओ, वो पासपोर्ट दिखाओ, हो सकता है लोगों के पास नहीं है, लेकिन एक तरीके से दबाव। और एक और बड़ी बात जो कह रही है कि जिस तरीके से गोवा के मूल निवासी गोवंस अपना नाम लिखते हैं, अपना पिता का नाम मध्य नाम के रूप में नहीं लिखते, लेकिन ये देखा गया है कि एक नई परिपाटी शुरू कर रही है इलेक्शन कमीशन। तो इस तरह की वो कह रही हैं कि एक तरीके से वो सारी समस्याएं हैं जो हर जगह हैं, लेकिन ये एक खासियत है और ये इसको रखना चाह रही हैं कि एसआईआर और भी बहुत तरीके से डैमेजेस कर रहा है और खतरनाक है, और खतरा लोगों के लिए है जो कि अन्य संस्कृतियों में जी रहे हैं। धन्यवाद। लेट्स मूव ऑन टू छत्तीसगढ़। लेट्स हियर कलादास भाई, एंड लेट्स रियली स्टिक टू 4 to 5 minutes। कलादास भाई आप आइए और आप बात रखिए, और आपके साथ जो बस्तर से हैं आप दोनों को वो ही वक्त मिलेगा, करीब 5 मिनट में आप दोनों अपनी बात।
जी, मैं ज्यादा नहीं कहूंगा। मैं तो
वीडियो ऑन कर सकते हैं।
असल में वीडियो करने से वो थोड़ा नेटवर्क प्रॉब्लम।
ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं।
यहाँ पर एसआईआर को लेकर के काफी, एक तो सरफराज जी के साथ हम लोगों की मीटिंग हुई, उसमें कुछ सीखने को मिला। उसके बाद फिर यहाँ लगभग हम लोगों ने छत्तीसगढ़ के अंदर PUCL के तहत हम लोगों ने एक संगठन का भी निर्माण किया, जिस संगठन के माध्यम से हम लोगों ने इस एसआईआर को लेकर के हम लोग चुनाव आयुक्त के पास गए। और चुनाव आयुक्त के पास जब हम लोग गए तो उसमें 2-3 मुद्दों को लेकर गए थे। एक तो आदिवासी इलाकों में बीएलओ का पहुंच पाना, उस इलाके में एसआईआर का फॉर्म बांटना। दूसरा यह है कि समय को बढ़ाने का, और तीसरा यह है कि जो जिस तरीके से शिक्षकों का भर्ती, जो माधुरी जी ने सवाल उठाया, उस बात को भी लेकर के तो उन्होंने एकदम साफ शब्दों में पहले तो यही कहा कि आप लोग निराधार चीजों को लेकर के आए। तो जब बाद में फिर उसी दौरान हमारा जो फॉर्म भरा था बीएलओ ने, वो गलत भरा था, लेकिन उनको वो हमको सही भरा है करके हमको दे दिया था। वो हम उसके टेबल में रखे कि सर ऐसा फॉर्म भर रहा है, तो बीएलओ ने माथ पकड़ लिया, अरे बाप रे इतना बड़ा गलती हो रहा है। तो लगभग हजार लोगों का फॉर्म गलत भरा था, जिसको हम लोगों ने जाकर के उस हमारे फार्म के तहत फिर बाकी जामुल इलाके में आकर के उस फार्म को ठीक कराएगा। एक तो एक उपलब्धि रही है। दूसरा ये है कि उसमें जो फोटो खींचने का था, तो ये जंगल इलाकों में लोगों को फोटो खींचने का, ये फोटो का दुकान नहीं है, रंगीन फोटो कहाँ से लाएंगे, तो उसका जो है ना उस फोटो में आदेश तुरंत हम लोगों ने करवाया कि बीएलओ अपने मोबाइल से फोटो खींच सकता है और उसका वो कर लेगा, तो तुरंत उन्होंने आदेश जारी किया। लेकिन आप पूरा लब्बो-लुआब यही है कि आदिवासियों का वोट बहुत कटेगा। दूसरा छत्तीसगढ़ भी ये है कि एक पूरा मजदूर बस्ती है अलग अलग इलाकों में, जो मजदूर बस्ती टूट करके दूसरे जगह चले गए हैं, तो इस तरीके से बहुत मजदूरों का जो है उसमें वोटर लिस्ट में नाम नहीं आएगा। ये एक बड़ी एक बात है। लेकिन हम लोगों की तरफ से लगातार ये कोशिश की जा रही है कि किसी का वोट कटना नहीं चाहिए। तो पूरे छत्तीसगढ़ में 21 जिलों में अलग अलग कुछ 2-2 3-3 लोगों का नंबर वाइज नंबर दे करके टीम बनाया गया है, उनसे संपर्क करके कि जो भी फॉर्म कैसे भरा जा रहा है उसको देखने के लिए, मतलब बिलासपुर, दुर्ग, रायपुर, राजनांदगांव, अलग अलग साथी लोग जिम्मेदारी लेकर के उस काम को कर रहे हैं। दूसरा जो एक बड़ी चीज है कि जहां पर सवाल है कि हम लोगों का जो ईसाइयों का और मुसलमानों का बात सच है कि सभी जगह लगभग वही हो रहा है, पर छत्तीसगढ़ में एक चीज देखने को मिल रहा है कि खास तौर पे आदिवासी इलाके में बहुत ज्यादा तकलीफें हैं और आदिवासियों का बहुत ज्यादा वोट कटने का चांसेस है। तो समय को देखते हुए मैं ज्यादा बात नहीं करूंगा, मैं समझ के कहूंगा कि और कुछ कांकेर की तरफ कुछ चीजें हैं उनको वो बात रखेंगे।
Uh, I- I'll talk in English and Hindi together. So, and a lot of what I'll be saying it in short, but I will be going by जो याचिका हमने डाली है बस्तर की तरफ से, जो मनीष कुंजाम जी ने डाली है, उसके जो मुख्य मुख्य बिंदु हैं, that I'll be going through. So the petition that Manish ji has filed, Manish Kunjam, for those who don't know, have been a two-time MLA from the Konta constituency, and he is the president of Adivasi Mahasabha, and he has first-hand witnessed how lakhs and lakhs of Adivasis in Bastar have been living without documents due to the conflict, due to displacement, and due to administrative neglect. Bastar is a fifth schedule area, and the idea is that a fifth schedule area is supposed to require protection for Adivasi land, for Adivasi culture, and for Adivasi political representation, and any sort of process that risks um, demographic change or risks the deletion of voters is supposed to come with extra safeguards, not the kind of extra speed and extra carelessness with which the current SIR is happening. Bastar is a very unique place because it has, of course, been historically neglected by the state, but it has also been ridden with conflict for decades, which has caused a lot of displacement. The documents that are being asked in SIR are documents that people of Basir simply do not possess. उनके पास वो documents है ही नहीं जो SIR मतलब जो दावापत्ती के समय मांगा जाएगा वो है ही नहीं. और वो क्यों नहीं है? It is because the state has themselves neglected the people of Bastar, but it is also in a lot of cases because the state has themselves burnt villages that happened during the Salva Judum, where 644 villages were burnt. The villages in Bastar are very scattered. There are many villages in the districts of Bijapur, Sukhma, in Narayanpur, where reaching is not possible. I mean, you have to walk 8 to 10 kilometers by foot, you have to cross streams. So to expect that BLOs are going to do door-to-door verification of people living in these hamlets is impractical. I mean, that is not going to happen. It is impossible, and it is not happening currently either. The past revisions that have happened in the state have taken 3 to 4 months, have taken several months. But what is happening right now is being shrunk into 30 days, which is completely impossible. आई एम जस्ट रिपीटिंग जो माधुरी जी ने कहा था वो बस्तर के लिए भी सही है. बस्तर के गांव एकदम खाली हैं. अभी धान कटाई चल रही है, पैडी कल्टिवेशन हो रहा है. अ लॉट ऑफ द पीपल आर द फार्मर्स आर लिविंग इन द फील्ड्स, दे आर स्लीपिंग इन द फील्ड्स. A lot of people who are not farming are going for migration to Telangana or Andhra for chili cultivation. People are not there. So that is also there. There was a huge, I mean, the monsoon that happened in Bastar currently was very harsh. The interior roads are still not have not become accessible even now. So to expect that at a time like this in 30 days there's going to be door-to-door verification by BLOs done is completely it's not possible. And one last thing I would want to say is that, I mean, we're going through a historic time in Bastar where there are being en masse surrenders that are happening, where a lot of people from inside are coming out. They want to join the mainstream. These are people with no documentation, and they're coming out and they want to join the mainstream. But what is also happening in Bastar is that the entirety of Bastar is being auctioned off. I mean, there are auctions happening every day. Mining companies are opening. A lot of outsiders are coming in to set up shop. And I mean, the people who are coming from outside have documents, have resources, have access, have connections, and these are people who will be able to show their documents and will be able to show that they're from Bastar or they're living in Bastar, and they'll be able to show that on paper. But the people of Bastar, the indigenous people of Bastar, are not going to have these documents to show. And you know, it's going to happen till the time, I mean, the mining companies are going to come and they're going to keep auctioning off land till Bastar is just a hole that is left. And the people of Bastar who have safeguarded this region are not going to be able to show. They are going to be termed as illegal residents of the area that they have safeguarded. So that is.
थैंक यू समर। साथियों, हम आगे बढ़ेंगे। बस्तर की जो यूनिक सिचुएशन है वो समर ने रखी है। यहाँ की जो दो चीजें एकदम यूनिक है कि यहाँ कोई डॉक्यूमेंट्स लोगों के पास भीतरी इलाके में नहीं है, और इतना इनएक्सेसिबल है, पहुंच ही इतना दिक्कत है कि कोई बीएलओ नहीं पहुंचेगा। किस प्रकार का ये एसआईआर हो रहा है किसी को कोई समझ नहीं है। और रोड्स के अलावा क्या इतना कोई पॉलिटिकल विल भी होगा? और साथ साथ ये भी तो देखा जा रहा है कि बस्तर में एक तरफ नक्सली मेन स्ट्रीम को ज्वाइन करने के लिए निकल रहे हैं, अपने आप को हवाले कर रहे हैं पुलिस के, और दूसरी तरफ ऑक्शन हो रही है रोज के रोज। तो बस्तर का बचेगा क्या? लोगों का बचेगा क्या? शायद सारे लोगों को वहां बस जो मूल निवासी है, जो वहां का है, उसको बाहरी कह के शायद कुछ समय में उनको निकाला कर दिया जाएगा। एक क्राइसिस है, वैसे ही एक क्राइसिस थी, एसआईआर ने उसको इतना ज्यादा बढ़ा दी है। ये एक बहुत बड़ा सवाल है और ये हम सबका सवाल होना पड़ेगा। ये सिर्फ छत्तीसगढ़ पीयूसीएल या बस्तर के लोगों का सवाल नहीं। दिस विल हैव टू बिकम एन ऑल इंडिया क्वेश्चन, जस्ट लाइक माइग्रेशन ऑफ ट्राइबल्स एवरीवेयर इन दिस country from Schedule 5 areas. Let us move on to other states. Let's hear Kerala. We have Mr. E.P. Anil from Kerala. Mr. Anil, please go ahead.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, just very quickly, just a few minutes.
Okay. I'm not going for any political statement on the issue. What is happening in Kerala, I'll be trying to reproduce here. See, Kerala, the time that is given to the people for enumeration form return was December 4th. All the programs started from November 4th, and it was supposed to finish by February 7th. So they were only allowed 3 months for the completion. That was an issue. As Kerala also approached the Supreme Court, we got some concession. By February 21st, it should be finished. So the issue in Kerala is something different from other states.
So you just got 1 week extra. You all have till 15. You only have an extra week because of your election.
Yeah. 2 weeks. No, that is not an issue. Like the issue
it's only 1 week. Yeah.
It was it is still it is still February 21st. So 2 weeks. No, whether 1 week or 2 weeks, it will not make much difference. So I will go to the details of it. So the main issue, yesterday there was a meeting from the chief electoral officer, and he himself is agreed that 20 lakh enumeration form has not yet come back to them. Though some more days are there. And there is news that 50 lakh people should come again to the BL or somewhere for clarification of their form filling. See, you know, the Kerala people, they are very anxious for the corporation of elections. We around more than 72 more than 70% of voters are cooperating with the election. So we are so anxious with the election. Everybody is very anxious to have their name in the voters list. In such a state, 50 lakhs of people shall come again to clarify the issues that is happened in the filling of enumeration form. Kerala total number of the voters is 2.87 crores, 28.7 million voters. From that, what we came to know is there is only doubling vote. Vote doubling was an issue. People used to say that vote doubling is happening in Kerala because of the left people's interference. But they themselves is agreeing that we have only 0.4% people who have a double vote issue. But the main issue comes to Kerala is, though the date is extended, if there is a marginal change of or marginal avoidance of the proper voters from the voters list, according to the new report, they are unable to find 5.6 lakhs people for the filling of the enumeration form. That means 2% of the people will be missing the voters' right. So, you know, the Kerala election, especially the assembly as well as parliament election, the difference between the winning party and the other party will be less than 1%. One time, even 1 lakh vote, which was more to the UDF, could get the rule of Kerala. So, a slight change of issue will give a very bad effect to the democratic experiments. And the other major issue, what happened was regarding the form. I don't know whether the other states, whether that type of form is available or not. In our place, the main issue was filling the form. So people are educated and they even read Malayalam and English also. The issue was if a person, a voter, whose vote was not there, his name, if the name is not there in the 2002 electoral list, there what will be fixed only if they can fill the parents of their identity. I will explain you. In 2002, if a new voter who has the name in 2025 is not in the list in 2002, he or she should produce the details of the person's parents or their brothers. And that voter should have a relative who is also in the 2002 list. So 3-generation people should be identified, or 3-generation people name should be there to fill the enumeration form if the new voter whose vote is not available in the 2002 SIR. So it became very, very complicated, and the people are so upset with the way how the chief electoral officer is approaching the issue. The political issue in Kerala now is the three-tier LSD is going on. The election is LSD is going on. Within a week, it will be finished. So our suggestion is, first, if 1% of people are going to be out of the enumeration, that will give a very, very bad political scenario to Kerala. There we cannot say that they are purposefully removing any particular group, any minority groups from the list, SC, ST, or Muslim or somewhere. But generally, many people will miss the vote or the voters' right because of the unethical, or what you say, unscientific approach of the electoral system. So the issue what I am going to raise is there should be a very mass agitation, not in the name of any particular political party. There should be a mass political multitude engagement in the streets against the 2025 SIR. Then only we will get a very positive result. So in Kerala, the things are not healthy. The political parties might come to the agitation just after the Triphala Panchayat election, that we have to say. Otherwise, you people like you, our group, should initiate to start a very mass demonstration and agitation, including Kerala and all over the India, beyond the political parties' nicknames, so that the issue will be politicized. That only the solution what I feel. From the Supreme Court, we know the limitations are coming more and more. So it is a scenario of Kerala. It is not the things are not happened healthily in Kerala. There is also a big issue that is the situation that I can say for time being.
थैंक यू। तो साथियों, इन्होंने बहुत जल्दी से, मैं उनका, क्योंकि हम वाकई बहुत लेट चल रहे हैं, थोड़ा मुझे बताएं हम लोग चले कैसे इस पूरे हमारी व्यवस्था को लेके। बहुत कम समय बच रहा है, हमारे कुछ सवाल भी हैं। तो आपका ये कहना है कि अभी लगभग 50 लाख लोगों को दोबारा बीएलओ से मिलना है, क्योंकि 20 लाख लोगों ने तो फॉर्म ही नहीं लौटाए हैं और 30 लाख लोगों की त्रुटियां हैं, तो लगभग 50 लाख लोगों का दोबारा मिलना पड़ेगा बीएलओ से। और टोटल 2 करोड़ शायद 90 लाख लोग आपके पूरे वोटर लिस्ट में हैं। और आपका ये कहना है कि वहां पे विनिंग, जीतना हारना बहुत ही कम परसेंट से होता है, 1%। तो इससे स्पष्ट है कि जब अगर इतना बड़ा संख्या है लोगों का जिनका वोटर लिस्ट में नाम अभी अधर में है, तो ये जरूर फर्क पड़ने वाला है। जो लोग जीत रहे हैं, यहाँ पे कोई डिजाइन लग रहा है जिस तरीके से ये पूरा किया जा रहा है, और ये बिल्कुल भी केरला के लिए ठीक नहीं है। और दूसरा आपका ये कहना है कि जो अन्य जगह भी है कि 2002 में अगर आप एक नए वोटर के 2004 में अगर आप एक नए वोटर के रूप में प्रवेश कर रहे हैं, तो आपको अपना 2002 का रेफरेंस देना पड़ रहा है। और ये एक तरीके से बहुत ही मुश्किल में एक नए वोटर को, कोई रिलेटिव का बताओ जिसका नाम 2002 की लिस्ट में था, या किसी पेरेंट्स का, अपने पेरेंट्स का दिखाओ, तो लोग बहुत ही खासी नाराज है। इनका कुल मिला के कहना है कि अगर लोग मोबिलाइज नहीं हुए, एक मास एजिटेशन, इसे पार्टी वाटी लाने की जरूरत नहीं है, एक मास एजिटेशन की जरूरत है, और वो हमें करना चाहिए। और इसमें खुद वो लोग, हो सकता है लोकल बॉडी इलेक्शन अभी 13 तक है, उसके बाद आप लोग करेंगे, लेकिन हो सकता है हम लोग सबको उसके बाद निकलना हो, ये बहुत जरूरी है। और ये बिहार का भी यही सवाल है कि बिहार में मोबिलाइजेशन क्यों हुआ। ये बहुत ही ज्यादा जरूरी है कि बिहार में अगर सरफराज आप आ जाए, सरफराज, इफ यू कैन कम इन जस्ट नाउ, though we have 4 states and union territories still left. Sarfaraz, can you tell us why didn't people mobilize in Bihar? Sarfaraz, are you there?
Yes, 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 I
Yeah,
am.
very quickly tell us why didn't people mobilize in Bihar?
This is still a question to all of
Sarfaraz
us.
is our general secretary of the PUCL from Bihar. Yeah, go ahead. And a national organizing secretary. Go ahead, Sarfaraz.
I am listening all of you since beginning. The question Kavita ji has said that in the beginning of the SIR, in the first week of July, political parties and other civil society organizations tried to uh, protest against this SIR. But later on, due to election, all the political parties chose to be part in the election mode, because otherwise they will lose the ground, lose the election mudda. So that was to make themselves safe for the election, which was going to be held in November. And I think that is the point where we lost the ground of protest. We needed to have massive protest on the roads. PUCL has organized, PUCL Bihar had organized a protest on the roads, and um, we have tried to move to the election commission office, but we were stopped in the middle of the road by the police. But not other organizations, because the political will of the all other parties what was not to boycott this process. In fact, I think that was also a dangerous task. If all of us have boycotted it, it might have produced some dangerous results also. I cannot say what dangers it could have produced, and that is why. And due to election, I think the government and the election commission have chosen the right time to start this SIR process. and nobody could do anything at that point. And it was a very mischievous task, mischievous design. And that's why no hue and cry, much hue and cry was made in Bihar. But even then, due to fight in Supreme Court and some halla gulla in Bihar, if they have done this SIR process in Bihar in the letter and spirit, more and more people have been deleted. More than 2 crores people have been deleted. All the process, as Yogender ji said, all the process was arbitrary. So, I know several dozens of people who haven't filled anything. No enumeration form have been filled by them, but even then their names have come in the draft rolls and in the final rolls also. Due to this arbitrariness, there was some slackness in the SIR process in Bihar. Otherwise, it was very, very dangerous. And I think we have gained something in Bihar, but we must have gained more and more. Thank you.
जी कहते डिजाइन ही एक बार लोगों को निकालने की थी, हु बहू एसआईआर चलता जैसे चलना था तो 2 करोड़ लोग निकलते। अभी तो 80 लाख ही कम हुए टोटल अडल्ट पॉपुलेशन से, नहीं तो बहुत ही ज्यादा कमी होती है। और उन्होंने कहा शुरुआत में लोग मोबिलाइज हुए थे, पार्टीज मोबिलाइज हुई थी, लेकिन फिर छोड़ के सब लोग लग गए। और शायद अगर एंगेज नहीं करते तो और भी खतरा होता। तो ये कोई आसान जवाब नहीं है अबाउट मोबिलाइजिंग एट द टाइम ऑफ इलेक्शन, कि इसको क्या बॉयकॉट करना था, ये कोई आसान जवाब नहीं है एट द टाइम ऑफ इलेक्शन। और जैसे माधुरी जी कह रही हैं, हम लोग जो राज्य के चुनाव नहीं है, वी हैव मच मोर टाइम, हमारे पास ज़्यादा समय है ये चैलेंजेस को उठाने के लिए। अब अरुंधति इंतजार कर रही हैं, अरुंधति और चित्तजीत यूपी से, और कह रहे हैं हमको तो सुनो, ममता राजस्थान से, लक्षद्वीप वाले बोट में अटके हुए हैं तो वो नहीं बोलेंगे। तो अरुंधति, चित्तजीत, ममता और मुजाहिद, हमारे 4 ही शायद स्पीकर्स बाकी हैं। दीना जी, आई विल टेक योर क्वेश्चन अ लिटिल लेटर, प्लीज वेट, राइट इट ऑन द ग्रुप। सो गो अहेड, अरुंधति एंड चित्तजीत, वेरी क्विकली,
I will
then
not.
we will have Mamta go next. Arundhati and Chittiji.
Kavita, I will talk about a specific case for which we approached the DM and also the chief election officer, and I think it is happening in more places also in UP. If you remember, there was a major youth settlement which was displaced from the middle of the Lucknow. Few months that happened in 23, it began. They went up to the Supreme Court called Akbar Nagar settlement. And it was around 15 to 20,000 residents, families were affected, and they first fought in the Lucknow High Court, and then they were shifted. They went up to the Supreme Court, and where under the Supreme Court they got the thing that they will be rehabilitated under the Pradhan Mantri thing, and their rights are recognized. And it was a very old settlement. And they did it same like a Gujarat model to develop a riverfront development project. They won. They got the settlement down. Now settlement is outside on the outskirts of Lucknow, but within Lucknow. Now the issue was none of them, all these families, none of them have been given a form on the argument that Akbar Nagar abhi hai hi nahi. So Akbar Nagar doesn't exist, so you don't exist. So now, so when we went to the DM, because when we came to know all these thousands and thousands of family, and predominantly almost 90% Muslim. 90% Muslim, and they were not given single form. Many of them went to the BLO. We also got met BLO. He said कि मुझे कहा गया है कि अकबर नगर doesn't exist, तो अकबर नगर के लोगों का भरना ही नहीं है, उनका कुछ है नहीं. So he said, but the people exist and people have voted. In 2002 they were there in 2022, they have voted in 2024, so they are there where their forms belong. But they said none of them are going to the form. We went up to the chief election officer, and who is completely confused and who is saying that we don't know what to do and we'll do, हम उनके सबके नए फॉर्म्स भरेंगे. तो हमने कहा कि but voters तो 2 पुराने हैं. There are people who are 80-year-old and they have been there, they have been voting. They are not sure what to do about them because they don't know, they don't have their present constituency. They have been shifted, and then we came to know there have been places like where people have been, ये bulldozer justice का भी मामला है, जहाँ पे displacement के नाम पे या bulldozer justice के नाम, when people have shifted out of those houses. Many of them are not there, so their forms are not given. And as all of you are aware, almost 99% of them, they are all Muslims. So they won't be, because they are not given forms at all.
थैंक यू
Their names
अरुंधति
are not there. Yeah. So
अरुंधति
one
का
more
कहना
thing.
है कि अगर
Yeah,
आपका
Kavita, I
एक
just one more line. One more
या
line. The other question which is nowadays raised, I think the whole issue of the trans persons, there are many who do not have a single document, do not have houses, none of them have got forms. They don't even know this exercise is going on. Are they citizens? Where are they going to be counted? And same like the single woman survivors, the deserted or abandoned women. So it's not only the woman, married women, especially the women who do not have any houses anymore and do not have any documents, so have been abandoned or left and now single. Where will they go? So I think trans person is also a huge thing, and this sort of a bulldozer justice. So I brought a particular case about this. We are planning to in fact move SC on the behalf of Akbar Nagar. 99% of them are Muslims.
थैंक यू अरुंधति, इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। आपका ये कहना है कि अगर एक सेटलमेंट अकबर नगर जैसे उदाहरण के लिए तोड़ दिया गया और लोग को रिलोकेट लखनऊ के भीतर किया है, लेकिन उनको कोई फॉर्म नहीं दिया गया, उन्होंने कहा क्योंकि अकबर नगर अब एग्जिस्ट नहीं करता है, अब वो लोगों का भी कोई अस्तित्व नहीं रहा, वो माने उनकी एक तरीके से सिविल डेथ हो गई, जो हम पूर्व में भी बात रखे हुए हैं। और ये अब वो लोगों ने 10 बार भी वोट कर दिया हो, अब वो एग्जिस्ट नहीं करते हैं। तो ये एक बहुत बड़ा सवाल है जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट में आप लेके जाएंगे। और आप कह रहे हैं ट्रांस लोग वगैरह की भी बहुत बड़ी समस्या है। मुझे लगता है ये ऑल थ्रू है, सारे राज्यों में ट्रांस लोगों की, ऑफेंस की ये समस्या आ रही है। चित्रजीत, you have just a minute to present your question, your point.
Absolutely. So Arundhati ji has already covered whatever I was going to say. There is also in certain cases a barcode mismatch in the enumeration form, and that is also causing a lot of problems. Another thing is that there are discrepancies in the spellings in the 2003. So I don't know how it is going to how they are going to make it sure that when the second phase of the process is going to start, how they are going to exactly match it with the documents, which might have their correct details. And the transgender persons SIR thing is really important. Many of them run away from their homes. It is impossible for them to get their parents' details and get it filled in the forms. So again, it happened in Bihar. I fear it will happen here as well. That especially traditional transgender communities, they are going to be missed out from the SIR process. Thank you.
Sorry, Chitrajit, I know you'll have a lot of issues, but just one issue each. Let's move to Gujarat, Mujahid, then Mamta, and then Balmurugan. So, Gujarat, Mujahid ji, आप please अपनी बात रखें, Mujahid ji. हाँ, very quickly, just one or two issues. We don't want to lose Prashant and Yogendra. Please go ahead.
बहुत ऐसे अगर है तो पूरे सारी बातें आ चुकी हैं। कोई हम लोगों ने बस खास एक ये है कि 2002 में हमारे यहाँ पर पहले जो स्पेशल रिवीजन इन इंटेंसिव नेचर क्या हुआ था, उसको लेके एक RTI की थी संतोष जी के नाम से, और उसमें जो हम लोगों को जवाब मिला, जो डॉक्यूमेंट्स मिले, उसके आधार पर हम लोगों ने एक कंपैरेटिव टेबल बनाया है और उसको हमने मीडिया के साथ शेयर भी किया था 2 दिन पहले, और उसको काफी पब्लिश हुआ कि 2002 में जो यहाँ पर हुआ उसमें बहुत सारी सुधार की गुंजाइश थी। 2003 में सुधार की गुंजाइश नहीं है। ऑलरेडी जो नाम गलत है वो नाम गलत ही रहेगा। फैमिली की ग्रुपिंग नहीं हो पा रही है। एक पार्ट में पति है, दूसरे पार्ट में पत्नी है। मेरे ही घर में मैं एक पार्ट में हूँ, मेरी वाइफ का वोट दूसरे पार्ट में है, तो वो ग्रुपिंग का अभी कोई सिस्टम नहीं है। और खास तौर पर जो लोग डिमोलिशन के जो पीड़ित लोग हैं, बेट द्वारका में जो लोग हैं, उनका नाम नहीं आया क्योंकि वो लोग वहां नहीं है। लेकिन जो अहमदाबाद में जो डिमोलिशन हुआ चंडोला में, वो लोगों का नाम उसी की वोटर लिस्ट में है, वो लोग वहां आए हैं। तो ये एक बड़ा कंफ्यूजन भी है, खासतौर पर DNTs के साथ जो इश्यूज आए हैं कि उनके पास कोई भी स्थान नहीं है परमानेंट, तो उनका वोट कैसे होगा। तो कुछ लोगों के वोट बने हैं, कुछ के नहीं। फॉर्म 6 नहीं मिला लोगों को, तो फॉर्म 6 कैसे भरेंगे? जिनका नाम 2002 में था 2025 में नहीं है, उनको एक डिक्लेरेशन फॉर्म भर के देना था, वो भी सारी जगह पर बीएलओ नहीं दे पाए। तो ये सारे सवाल हैं जिसको विस्तृत तौर पर कभी फिर मिलेगा, ये 2-4 मिनट में तो नहीं आ पाएंगे, लेकिन गुजरात ने इसको लेके बहुत स्पेसिफिक रिसर्च का काम किया और ग्राउंड पर लोगों का हम लोगों ने सेंटर्स खोलकर, जो परमानेंट सेंटर हैं आज भी चल रहे हैं, लोगों के फॉर्म भराना, बीएलओ के साथ काम करना, इवन पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज के डिस्ट्रिक्ट प्रेसिडेंट्स को ट्रेनिंग दी। मैंने खुद कांग्रेस के सभी जिला, ब्लॉक और शहर के वार्ड्स के लोगों को, 400 से ज्यादा लोगों को एक दी और एक जिले में जाकर ट्रेनिंग दी। तो बहुत सारे काम किए गए हैं जिसमें बहुत सारी चीजें आई हैं, डे टू डे में रोज सवाल आ रहे हैं। मौका मिलेगा तो हम लोगों को इस पर दोबारा कभी रखेंगे, बाकी मैक्सिमम बातें उसमें आ चुकी हैं। शुक्रिया।
Mujahid is saying very similar issues to others. There are specificity, but there doesn't seem to be time. So he just simply wants us to know that in Gujarat, they worked very hard on the ground, and through surveys, through a lot of comparative research and writing, trainings, huge number of trainings were done. And of course, there have been lots of deletions, and especially the serious issues related to distortion in names of 2002 and today, and along with people being into the DNTs. DNTs, I think, in Gujarat and Rajasthan are a very, very specific issue, and the DNT issue is huge in Gujarat, along with all the bulldozer justice cases, like what Arundhati said, where people who used to live in a particular place are not finding their names after all those demolitions. Some are, some are not. So there's a lot of confusion, and in a way, it's kind of a second round of powerless, making people powerless, along with the disenfranchisement that is happening. It's also disempowering a lot of people. There are many more details that Mujahid ji would have liked to have shared, because Gujarat is working all across the state, but due to paucity of time, he wouldn't be able to do it. We quickly move to Rajasthan, Mamta, and then T.N. Balmurugan. Mamta, very quickly. If you could also share. Mamta is a senior PUCL vice president. Mujahid was general secretary of Gujarat PUCL. Mamta is vice president of Rajasthan PUCL. Go ahead, Mamta.
तो राजस्थान में हमारे संगठित प्रयास अनेक संस्था संगठनों ने किए हैं, जागरूकता अभियान चलाए हैं, एन्यूमरेशन फॉर्म्स भरवाए हैं, बीएलओ के साथ मिलकर शिविर लगाए हैं, सामूहिक स्तर पर ऑनलाइन मीटिंग्स करे हैं स्टेट लेवल पर, और राज्य स्तर की सुनवाई की है। और इस राज्य स्तर की सुनवाई के संदर्भ में स्थानीय स्तर से राज्य स्तर तक के अधिकारियों के साथ पैरवी की है। आमतौर पर लोगों का यह मानना है कि चुनाव से बहुत सारे लोग प्रक्रिया से बाहर हो जाने वाले हैं, वोटर सूची से। दूसरी बात कि ये समय उपयुक्त नहीं है, क्योंकि राजस्थान में परंपरागत तरीके से माइग्रेशन होता है, और दक्षिण राजस्थान की 56% आबादी जो है वो अन्य राज्यों में, खासतौर से गुजरात में और अन्य राज्यों में जाती है, और वो अप्रैल से पहले वापस नहीं आते हैं। तो ये समय में उनका बाहर रह जाना बहुत लगता है। दूसरी बात, इतनी जल्दबाजी में 1 महीने के अंदर करने का क्या औचित्य था, ये भी लोगों को समझ नहीं आ रहा है। बीएलओस पर भी इसका दबाव है, और राजस्थान में ही 4 अधिकारियों की मौत हो चुकी है हार्ट अटैक के कारण। कुछ लोग अस्पताल में भर्ती हैं, और खास बात यह है कि सेवानिवृत्त आईएएस अधिकारी भी यहाँ पर हमारे साथ सहयोग में जन सुनवाई में पैनल में भी रहे, मुख्य चुनाव आयुक्त से मिलने भी गए, और अंत तक पत्रकार और ये आईएएस अधिकारी ने साथ देने का वादा किया है कि इस संघर्ष में वो हमारे साथ हैं। तो पहली बात मैं यहाँ ये कहना चाहती हूँ कि दक्षिण राजस्थान के कोटड़ा क्षेत्र में आदिवासी विकास मंच ने एक सर्वेक्षण किया था, तो 15,000 लोग भाग की खेती पर गए हैं, उनके नाम जुड़ने से रह जाने वाले हैं। सुप्रीम कोर्ट के आदेश के बावजूद भी आधार कार्ड को निवास और उम्र के पहचान पत्र के रूप में मान्यता नहीं दी जा रही है। घुमंतुओं, अर्धघुमंतुओं, के पास न तो कोई आवास है, न कोई पहचान पत्र। कैसे पहचान पत्र साबित करेंगे? ये अपनी अनाथ, ट्रांसजेंडर, मदारीज, घुमंतु, डीएनटी, सरकारी आश्रय में रहकर बड़ी हुई महिलाएं, जिनको अपने माता पिता के नाम की कोई जानकारी नहीं, जिनके पास दस्तावेज नहीं, उनकी सूचना भी कैसे दर्ज होगी, इस बारे में स्पष्टता नहीं है। एकल महिलाओं के उनके ससुराल में परंपरागत तौर पर नाम कटवाए जा रहे हैं, ये कहकर कि वो तो नाते जा रही हैं, और इस तरह ये अभियान उनके वैवाहिक घर में उनके और उनके बच्चों के अधिकार छीनने का एक बड़ा माध्यम बन रहा है। दूसरी तरफ विवाहित महिलाओं के नाम परंपरागत रूप से शादी के बाद बदल दिए जाते हैं। उनके पास दो अलग सबूत हैं और ये साबित करने को कुछ भी नहीं है कि ये दोनों व्यक्ति एक ही हैं। 2002 की मतदाता सूची का नाम यहाँ पर कई लोगों ने जिक्र किया है, लेकिन लोगों के पास 1995 तक के वोटर सूची में नाम है, लेकिन कई लोगों की विधानसभा में परिवर्तन है, कई विवाहित महिलाओं के पीहरसी मिलान में समस्या आ रही है, और वरिष्ठ सेवाधिकारी जो आईएएस अधिकारी हैं, उनको भी 2002 की सूची में अपने नाम नहीं मिले और बिना उन्होंने मिलान के ये फॉर्म्स दर्ज करवाए हैं। एक ही सदस्यों के नाम अलग अलग बूथ में दर्ज हैं, ये भी बात आ चुकी है, और लोगों को लग रहा था कि वो अपने नाम, नए नाम जुड़वा सकेंगे, लेकिन ये मैचिंग का जो क्लॉज फॉर्म 6 के साथ जोड़ दिया गया है, उसके कारण नए फॉर्म्स एडल्ट्स को भरने में बड़ी दिक्कत आ रही है। 18 साल तक के जो काफी ऊपर के लोग हैं, शायद मतदाता अधिकारियों को ये नहीं पता है, मतदान अधिकारियों को, ईएसआई को, ईसीआई को, कि बहुत से लोग अभी भी मतदाता सूची से बाहर हैं। विविध प्रमाण पत्रों के में अलग अलग सूचनाएं दर्ज हैं, उनकी नाम, पता और फोटो ये भी अलग अलग देखने में आई है। कई बार ईसीआई से जो एन्यूमरेशन फॉर्म्स दिए गए हैं उसमें भी फोटो अलग आई है और पता गलत आया है, और किसी को पिता को पति बनाकर पेश कर दिया गया है। ऐसी विषमताओं में वो ये जानना चाह रहे हैं कि हमारी ये क्या स्टेटस है।
So there have been a lot of... Mamta, please conclude.
यस, मैं बहुत जल्दी से अपनी बात बता रही हूँ, और इसके अलावा मैं ये कहना चाह रही हूँ कि ये पहला चरण खत्म हो रहा है हमारा। दूसरे चरण में सोशल ऑडिट्स की बात आई है, और राजस्थान सोशल ऑडिट की शुरुआत में बहुत महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका रही है। इसमें हमारी प्रक्रिया होना बहुत जरूरी है। अंत में मैं प्रशांत जी से और योगेंद्र जी से ये पूछना चाहती हूँ कि अगर सुप्रीम कोर्ट का फैसला हमारे हित में नहीं आया, जनता के हित में नहीं आया, तो आगे की हमारी संघर्ष की क्या रणनीति रहने वाली है। फिलहाल इतना ही कह के मैं अपनी बात खत्म कर रही हूँ। शुक्रिया।
So very quickly, Mamta is sharing most of the issues that have come in other states. What is specific to Rajasthan is a huge migration, and it's very worrying what will happen to those people who were not there during SIR, and cultural practices of name changes along with DNTs. Again, we have a huge population of DNTs. They have no 2002 reference. Trans people, because it was only after 2013, after the Nalsa judgment, that trans people came in. So along with all this, we do see quite a bit of exclusion even in Rajasthan, and the new voter was very excited to get their Form 6 filled, faced the same issue as in Kerala, give a proof of 2002. And now that has made things very difficult even for the new voter. And there is a discrepancy between online form and what is being done by BLOs or at the e-Mitra level, the facilitation center. So the question that Mamta has from Prashant and Yogendra, that if the judgment does not go in favor of the people, meaning sir is not considered illegal, unconstitutional, then what are our steps going to be after this? How are we going to ensure that people once get on to lists, or this mass exclusion that is going to happen? What are we going to do then? We move on to our last state, last but not the least. Bal Murugan ji, please go ahead. You are our speaker from Tamil Nadu. The states of Kerala and Tamil Nadu are going for elections very soon. West Bengal, Juma had to leave. She was supposed to speak from West Bengal, where we are told there may be more than 1 crore deletions. Go ahead, Bal Muruganji. Please go ahead. Aishwarya? Balmuruganji, you're there. Please.
You can unmute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Kavita. Oh, thank you very much. Actually, the Kavita in Tamil Nadu is that I have to begin with some interesting fact. In Tamil Nadu is the ruling DMK is one of the a tough competition for the NDA government. The other partners, the opposite party cannot win the election because they are not the percentage of vote. But after came to the SIR, the NDA partners are welcoming the SIR and very celebrating the SIR because they openly talk that we are going to win the next election because of the SIR. This type of the propaganda is going on. The AIADMK, the party is also going to Supreme Court, file the petition and welcoming the FIR. This type of interesting factor is going on in Tamil Nadu by the SIR. Actually, in the Tamil Nadu is there is a 6 crore 41 lakhs voter were existed in the voter list previously. Whereas in this after the SIR, the December 4th, the Election Commission of Tamil Nadu is issue one statement that they issuing the form for 95%, but they are collecting only for the 85% only. So probably they had to collect the 85 lakhs voters. So there is a possibility of the probably the 85 lakhs voter will lose their voting rights by the SIR. It is more. It is like the 14% total voter list. So in the they issuing the statement that the people are permanently shifting was 45 lakhs and 26 lakhs people was died and the 11 lakhs people were absent and the 4 lakhs already was enrolled duplicate. This was issued by the Election Commission. Actually, there is in Tamil, for example, in Chennai, the total elector was 40 lakhs, whereas as per the December 4th, the details of Election Commission, the uncollected was in Chennai alone was 13 lakhs. So it is nearly a 32%, or among nearly the 1 out of 3 was losing their voting rights because there is a possibility of the potential they remove the name, maybe they remove. So in this case, I went to the last week. I went to in the very interior part of the Tamil Nadu, some tribal areas in the Nilgiri districts and the Kudalur block, where I met some tribal people in the 3 villages. And the tribal peoples, the village, they peoples are displaced from the forest to some border area because of the name of Tiger Project. But I went to asking whether they receive any SIR form, the enumeration form for fill upping the vote. But the tribal peoples gave the negative answer. They are not receiving any form. No one come to give the enumeration form to them. One tribal village, they said they already received the form, but no one come to collect the forms. So these type of people, potentially the tribals are losing their voting rights by the SIR because no one care about them. Actually, some blocks in PLA, the block level agents, these peoples are, for example, in the DMK ensuring the working, ensuring their vote, their favorable voter list, they ensure that. Whereas in the peoples are not non-political and peoples are not joining any party, or so peoples are come from the marginalized community and marginalized backgrounds. No one care about them. It's a very pathetic situation in Tamil Nadu. So only in the Chennai alone, 13 lakhs people are their voting rights are in the hanging situation.
How many?
So
How many in Chennai?
Chennai is for total electorate is 40 lakhs. The uncollected is alone is 13 lakhs. So
13 lakhs.
that so 32% people's yet to receive uncollected. Probably the collection maybe is the number is for 85 lakhs to peoples are potentially remove, but probably within the week maybe the 5 to 10 lakhs people maybe include, but nearly the 75 lakhs people maybe lose their vote in Tamil Nadu. This is a very dangerous situation. So only the NDA partners are joining because they feel that maybe they come to next election because of the SIR. This is a very dangerous situation. This is the situation, but maybe another thing is that in the enumeration form, the Tamil translation is very worst one in enumeration form. For example, in the column, you are asking the father name, parent's name, but in Tamil translation, it is asking your relative name. So people are so confused. No one correctly fill up the relative name. Who is the relative? The relative is parents different from the relative. These type of the worst Tamil translation is in the enumeration forms. So many, and another thing is, the people they asking the 2002 and 2005 where they exercise their vote in the 20 years before. But this was so confused. People did not know their place where they're voting. And another thing is, the constituency numbers also was changed now. For example, I'm hailing from the 2002.
So
I was
please
voting in the
conclude, Murugan. Yeah.
2000. My Bhavani, my constituency name was Bhavani. That was name is 104, but now it is changed as a 141 something else. So it was so confused, and I feel that every enumeration form there was some mistakes. So probably at the time of the updating the ERO or AERO, maybe the deleting or they are using some of the computer. There is a potentially delete there is a lot of name, probably 1 crore people maybe lose their voting rights by the SIR. It was very dangerous situation. It was very affecting the people's democratic rights and other things. So it's very dangerous. Hello,
Thank you. So Balmurugan is one of our national vice presidents also, and also with he is general secretary of Tamil Nadu. No, am I right, Balmurugan? You have handed over. So if we could actually now move to Yogendra. I can see Yogendra Prashant seems to have left. I think Aishwarya has sent you all the questions. Aishwarya?
Yes, sent.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Have you sent all the
where?
questions to Yogendra?
On your chat.
Where have you sent it on?
Chat pe.
Chat on the.
Yeah.
Or do you prefer on the laptop? Yeah.
If you can just.
Yeah, and Dinanath, come in just in a minute. Would you wait?
There are
Dina?
just so
You were
many
talking
messages on the chat.
No, there is
no, she's just collated. Only check yours. Check specifically yours, Yogendra.
I don't know how to check only my messages.
मैं फिर से copy paste करके main chat पे डालती हूँ.
हाँ, put it on the main chat. Yeah, Dina, in the meanwhile, say
now
what
I
you have
can
to
see.
say.
Yeah, now I can see that.
Dina, are you going ahead or let Yogendra start? Yeah.
No, Dina ji couldn't unmute that time. Now he can.
Anyways, Yogendra, please go ahead.
Should I go ahead? I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm not opening my video, but I can now read because I can't do both the things at the same time. So Radhika
Kavita,
Desaiji's question.
Very quickly, Dina, we
yeah,
lose Yogendra
Kavita,
otherwise.
just 30 seconds. I need the attention of Prashantji if he's there and Yogendraji both. You see, yesterday we had a day-long workshop here in Jharkhand wherein APCR, Bharat Jodo, PUCL, everyone was there as an organization, and we had representative from MP and Uttar Pradesh, Chhattisgarh. You see, the alarming thing that has come to our notice from the members, representative from MP, is that there is a list being prepared, especially at Jabalpur, for demolition of houses of those particularly Muslim community members whose name does not appear in the list. So this issue I am flagging for the attention of Prashantji and Yogendraji both. We need to verify this situation, and we must see that now, even before this disenfranchisement, there is a bulldozer justice arriving to the people. I just wanted to flag this before Yogendraji takes over. That's all.
Thank you so much. Yogendra ji, there's a lot. People are very miserable. बहुत परेशान है. Please answer all these questions.
Kavita ji, the only answer can be given by Election Commission of India, which is in no mood situation, or they don't want to answer these questions because they are under instructions to do something which they are carrying out. So I have spoken to previous chief election commissioner, I have spoken to previous election commissioners of India, and everyone is aghast कि हो क्या रहा है, ऐसा तो हमने कभी नहीं किया था, क्यों हो रहा है? So there are no easy answers. The question that was mentioned towards the end by Dina ji. Dina ji, I think there's absolutely no doubt that this is, if it is happening, it is not just illegal, this is absolutely one of the most dangerous things. But the first step, Dina ji, is for us to verify the facts. That there is a list being prepared is something we need to be absolutely sure. We need some kind of, that it is not merely an allegation.
Yeah,
it is not speculative. We have to
Right.
say something. We have to produce some scrap of paper to say, okay, this is happening.
Yeah.
Then, of course, I'm sure Prashantji will straight take it to the Supreme Court.
Absolutely.
While this hearing is happening, all such cases, and that's a general point I wanted to make. Look, if Prashantji was there, he would have given you the answer about the court. I'm not the right person. My own sense is that in the Supreme Court, the decision does not depend upon how good is your case. It also depends upon who is hearing your case and under what overall context and circumstances it is happening. So I don't need to spell it out. All of you know what's happening in the Supreme Court. So if you ask me, I do not think the present bench is going to give you a very positive verdict. This is my honest assessment. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I think this is all being broadcast publicly. So let me not get into any more details of it. The situation is, I'll be very, let me say it, I would be very positively surprised and very happy if such a judgment were to come. We all know the overall situations in the court, but in the meanwhile, if there are some very specific grievances of the kind that you mentioned, Dinaji mentioned, we have specific situation that, Lucknow, that particular locality, which is Akbarpur being demolished, being removed from the whole thing. And if we have similar
Or the
cases,
Tiger Reserve of
Tiger
Tamil
Reserve
Nadu.
case, yeah,
Mm.
or the case of the specific situation of the
Yeah,
DNT,
wherever bulldozer, Gujarat also, wherever they are.
or the specific situation of DNTs, for example,
Yeah,
and
yeah, that we can give.
DNT,
We have a
with
huge.
very concrete examples in this. And if we want very specific relief from the court, that we have much better chance of getting. Then the larger question of constitutionality or otherwise is for the court to decide, and I would leave it for Prashant ji to give a assessment of where the thing stands. But I would really urge all of you present in the meeting today to please send your very specific and pointed grievance with clear evidence, paper evidence. If you do these things, we have seen that once we file it in the Supreme Court, even if it is not heard by the court, the Election Commission does something quickly to address it. So that is the only positive thing that is coming from this case right now. The specific grievances are being redressed because the Election Commission does not want the overall SIR to collapse. So in order to protect the overall SIR, they are more than willing to make tiny, small concessions on specific cases. So I would urge everyone to do so. Now, let me go to the specific questions. The first question is about first question is Radhika Desai. Why was this level of 10% disenfranchisement not sufficient for SC to put a stay on SIR in Bihar or mandate Bihar election without SIR? It's a very, very good question, Radhika ji. You are asking the wrong person. Please ask this of the Supreme Court. I don't know how to ask the Supreme Court such questions, but if you can, please ask it. Aisha ji says, yesterday, in Delhi, we saw at some places shopkeepers were asking the names of customers. To Muslim customers, they were denying. I just want to hear that ये नफरत कहाँ तक बढ़ेगी. आयशा जी, ये larger सवाल है, आप भी जानती हैं हकीकत इसकी. और that is precisely what we are fighting against in this country. ये कब तक बढ़ेगी जब तक हम रोकेंगे नहीं. But right now we are focusing on SIR, so please allow me to not get into the specifics of this very important question otherwise. Why SIR info family members are mandatory at the time of registration of new voters? Now, that's a very new thing. Even for Bihar SIR, this was not asked. Bihar SIR did not have this column for giving details of demonstrating that one of your relatives was on the voters list in 2002. But what happened was this, that as we had argued, that about 40% people in Bihar had absolutely no document whatsoever. So an election commission, of course, does not have the courage to disenfranchise 40% people of Bihar. So that is where they came up with this new method, that there was an exemption for people whose names were already there in 2003 in the case of Bihar. So election commission people said, all right, let us extend this exemption. So first they extended the exemption to the children of people in 2002. Then they said anyone related to anyone in 2003. This is what happened. They used the Vanshavali. And it is only because of that they could actually include the name of about 90% people in the voters list. Otherwise, Bihar would have had a 40% deletion. So once this method succeeded, then they have adopted this method for the entire country. This is why the Election Commission is doing it. Is it legal? I don't think it is legal, especially asking for relatives' name. Indian law only recognizes father and mother for purposes of citizenship. Indian law does not recognize any other relative for purposes of citizenship. So to my mind, it's blatantly illegal. My grandfather was
the citizen of India does not prove anything. Even if the purpose was to establish citizenship, grandfather or my uncle or my maternal uncle, my maternal grandfather is of absolutely no relevance as far as the citizenship law of India is concerned. So to my mind, it's illegal, but legality will be decided by the Supreme Court. Madhuri ji says our states have a better chance than Bihar since our elections are still a little distant. We should discuss how to challenge, exclude fake voters in February. Yes, so there are two different categories. The draft list will come out on the 15th of January. You would find two kinds of problems. Number one, those people who were on voters list in November, but whose name does not come in the 15th December list, excluded people. Now, that is a very tricky category. As you would recall, in Bihar, there were 65 lakhs of that kind. Election Commission has no formal procedure whatsoever. Even today, they have no form, no procedure, no protocol, no SOP for these people. And when we approached the Supreme Court, the Election Commission said, don't worry, they can fill Form 6. Now, Form 6 applies only to those who are new voters. Someone who has been voting for 20 years, whose name is now excluded, will have to say, I'm a new voter, which is a complete lie. But so the re-inclusion of those names which have been excluded from draft electoral rolls is unfortunately not going to be easy. The only way is for them to fill Form 6 and pretend that they are new voters. That is a major thing that we are challenging before the Supreme Court. The second is the category of those whose names are there on the draft rolls, but who receive a notice saying your documents are not complete, your names have not been matching. We do not know whether any of your relative was there in 2003. They will be asked to give documents. There, the procedure will be legal. They will get a notice, they will get a hearing, they will get an order, and that is where we can intervene very effectively. And third is the category of those who are included, those who are on the draft rolls, but we think they should not be on the draft rolls because these are fake names. They can easily be challenged, but the only way of challenging that is to file individual complaints under Form 7. And the complaint should ideally be filed by someone from within that booth. But it can still be challenged. So there is a process for that. But as you can see, these are very, very difficult processes because you have to do it in each individual case. You cannot say 500 names are fake. No, you have to file individual objection against each of those 500 names. So it's going to be complicated. Radhika ji's question is, how is SIR linked to detention centers in UP? No, I mean, not directly detention centers, Radhika ji, but yes, there is a provision under para 5B of the SIR, which says that if a BLO detects a foreigner in the course of their examination, etc., then it is their duty, they are required to report it to the concerned authorities, to the concerned authority, which in the case of Assam is the Foreigners Tribunal. In the case of many other parts of the country, it is the DM who acts in this respect. So yes, there is a legal provision in SIR which has never existed in the past in any document of the Election Commission. Because here, Election Commission is acting as an agent of the Home Ministry. This has never happened in the history of this country. Election Commission and Home Ministry have a wall that separates them. But in this case, that is not the case. So yes, there is this possibility, but detention center is a little distant thing. Right now, yes, there is a technical requirement that anyone detected as foreigner during the SIR has to be reported to the concerned authorities, which is very dangerous provision. Radhika ji, if SIR is deemed unconstitutional, will Bihar election be legally valid? You're asking very good questions, Radhika ji, but to the wrong person. I mean, the election Supreme Court has to answer these questions. I mean, ideally, the simple question is, since there was a challenge to the constitutionality, why did the Supreme Court not give a judgment before Bihar election? They could have said it is constitutional. They could have said it is unconstitutional, whatever. But you would normally expect them to give a judgment. So if the operation is successful but the patient is dead, what do you do? That is the kind of situation that we are dealing with. Alok ji, why don't we take clear-cut stand? Either we oppose it completely or support. If the outcome of SIR is what we see in Bihar result, then why should we be part of this conspiracy? Alok ji, the difficulty is that we here are a very small fraction of population. If we suppose all of us put together boycott SIR in Rajasthan, Congress party does not boycott it. BJP obviously does not boycott it. No other party boycotts it. How many people will not register themselves? Maybe Kavita is courageous. She will not register herself. You may find 1,000 or 2,000 people of that kind, which will not even be noticeable by then. So the only thing about boycotting is either it is large, either it is big and impactful, otherwise not. So we are being forced to find spaces within an exercise which we consider to be illegitimate. So I understand there's a dilemma. We think SIR is illegitimate, yet we are trying to help people find their space within an illegitimate exercise. But honestly, there is not too much of a space available to us. Is there any other question? Kavita,
yeah. So, any comments you would like to make on the deaths of BLOs?
Look, the death of the, a large,
I mean,
someone could
it
say,
actually symbolizes the
yes,
pressure, the inhuman pressure that people are being subjected to,
Now,
still underway.
Yeah, the important thing is to emphasize that these deaths, these are not ordinary tragedies. These are not ordinary accidents. These are design defects. You design an exercise in such a way that it would lead to this impossible pressure. Now, the question is in Rajasthan, what is the need in Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh to do this whole exercise in
Gujarat.
30 days in Gujarat? And if you needed to do it in Bengal, why did you not start it in the month of September? Why were you waiting till December to start November to start this exercise? So it is quite clear. You see, in the past, the BJP people will respond on television by saying, last time when we did SIR, again, we gave only 31 days. So what is the problem? The problem is this. Last time when the intensive revision took place in 2002, there were 60 days of preparation before the SIR, before the intensive revision began. Now there were 6 days of preparation. That is one difference. The total exercise was 74 days, which has now been reduced to 6 days. Second, last time, intensive revision simply meant that the BLO went from, in those days, it was not called BLO, it was an enumerator. They went from house to house, ticked name, crossed names, got signature, came back. That was the end of it. Now the BLO is required first to go and give the form, second to go back and collect it, third in the process help them to map their names to 2020, 2003, which is nearly an impossible job, and fourth to verify it and to upload every single form on a PDF on their phone. I mean, you try and upload, in the next 1 hour, try and upload 20 documents on your phone. You would realize what the BLO is going through. And then he's getting messages from top saying, if you don't do it, you will get a show cause notice. You will be terminated. You will be suspended. Why have you not completed your quota and such like? So no wonder this is happening, and this is completely avoidable. So it is designed to produce the tragedies that are happening. That is the point that we should be making.
Uh, is there anything else that people want to ask? Otherwise, Mamta's question, although partially answered, if the Supreme Court rules against the people, then what should we do? As it reinforces the exclusion, number one, what should we do? I mean, people's movement is the only way, but how do you build? You can build a people's movement against Indigo's complete collapse and blackmailing of government and not running flights. Can you build a people's movement against SIR? I mean, once again, we come back to the same question.
Kavita, I just
Bef-
have one question. Just if you can.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Yogendraji, my specific question is that is there a still opening still there to approach Supreme Court for the specific relief of carrying out the deduplication exercise with all the proof that we have now?
The deduplication point has been made by Prashantji in the Supreme Court more than once. Repeatedly, he has made this point. Prashantji just last week read out provisions from the Election Commission's own manual, which require them to do deduplication. I have already given evidence in the Supreme Court to show lakhs of duplicate names in Bihar. So, yes, I mean, the point has already been made in the Supreme Court. Whether it will be heard, whether some relief will be given, we don't know.
Okay.
There is another question about kindly share an email ID where the specific grievance with documentary evidence could be forwarded so that you can use it in the court. I would suggest that our friend Kavita should be that nodal point. Kavita, if you can just gather all
Sure,
these
sure.
things, and
Sure.
then Neha, who works with Prashantji. It should be forwarded to Neha, but I would suggest that it should first come to you so that you filter it, and then send the relevant ones to Neha and to me, and to Prashant.
So what do you say if because we are not going to, I mean,
Yeah.
whatever be the judgment, it's definitely after having done Bihar elections, they're not going to stop Bengal. Your own view is that a huge number, maybe 1 crore may be excluded in Bengal. And a lot of people in West Bengal are saying Juma could not be in this meeting beyond 7 and she had to leave. So, what is it that when mass exclusions are going to happen, what is it that people are going to do?
So these are very difficult questions.
Like
Although in the case of
Balmurugan
Bengal,
also said.
in the case of Bengal, something very different is happening. I'm not entirely sure because initially I thought it would lead to massive disenfranchisement. But I think what has happened is this, that in a sense, because TMC is in power and TMC would obviously not want too many deletions to take place. And BJP's only chance of coming to power in Bengal depends on large number of deletions. That's a game. But because TMC is in power, therefore, I think many BLOs feel emboldened to articulate their grievances. So many of the BLOs have spoken out in public. The other thing which is happening is that a large number of BLOs have refused to carry out those deletions that they were informally asked to do. And as a result of it, you would have noticed now the Election Commission is threatening the BLOs of Bengal and saying, revisit it. Everywhere else, they are saying, complete your quota, increase the numbers. In Bengal, they are saying, oh, you've done too much, decrease the numbers. So something very funny is happening in Bengal right now. So we don't know what's happening. But yes, Election Commission is making every possible effort to have significant deletions in Bengal, and the local BLOs are resisting that. So that's a very special case, Bengal. So let's wait to see what really happens. But yes, what happens when there are a large number of deletions? What can we do? One, I would say, because the case, as Prashantji said, is likely to continue for at least 1 more month. As soon as the information about, as soon as the draft electoral rolls are released, can we prepare as many authentic list of people who are excluded as possible? That is to say, people whose name was on the voters list in the month of November, who should have continued to be on the voters list, but whose names have been thrown out, excluded. Election Commission will not say deleted because they say, Election Commission says excluded, but whatever. So these people can be, it would really help if we can prepare large lists, but verified. Each list should be verified, very carefully verified, because if we give one name in the Supreme Court, Election Commission acts overnight. They send officers to the house of that person to check it out. So our lists have to be completely verified. But once we verify it, I really think we should take all these names to the Supreme Court and present it to them, the reality of this is what happened. Because in Bihar, what happened was that because political parties were so busy with elections at that time, the number of complaints that came, because the court listens to only something which is written, which is on paper, which is an affidavit. So the number of affidavits were limited. But now in other states where the pressure of election is not there, can we get large number of such affidavits, specifically affidavits coming from targeted groups, for example, DNTNT, for example, women whose names have changed, for example, women living on the Gujarat-Maharashtra border, whose parents are in Maharashtra, but they are in Gujarat, things of that kind. If we have targeted affidavits, etc., it would make a huge difference. We should do that. Although so our experience is that wherever we have presented the Supreme Court with specific examples, overnight the Election Commission has made corrections of those things because they're very, very conscious of those things. So grievance redressal, right now what is happening in Supreme Court is that while the constitutionality of it hangs in the air, it is being discussed, but specific grievances are being redressed very, very quickly. Even before the court takes it up, they redress it. So I would really suggest all of us should bring all the legitimate grievances, and we'll keep filing it in the Supreme Court.
There were two things, Yogendra, I thought. One is this insistence on social audit, which you all have already, Prashant was saying, brought it to the notice of the Supreme Court. I don't know whether, because it's in their rules. We've also gone up to our CEO, because we have these weekly meetings with our CEO. He's very, very good and reaches out to anybody. So he told us that, we've always had it in Rajasthan. So we said, no, we want more specific rules. So let's see if he'll give us. But one thing on social audit, the other is this 21.3 brackets 9.33, which was used by Mr. Lingdo for Thakurwara, where he redid it, where a whole settlement of Thakurwara, which was Muslim, was excluded from the electoral rolls. A re-election, a re-SIR was done, and whatever they called it, IR, SIR, and the people were restored. So maybe for these pockets under 9.33, we asked for a re-SIR. Has that been explored?
No. I'm glad you bring out the Thakurdwara case, Kavita, because actually SIR is meant exactly for that kind of situation. This is what SIR was all about. They are using that to do it all over the country, which is actually completely
Friends,
illegal.
please make a note of this. It cannot be en masse. It can only be for pockets. This is something we really need to understand.
The whole provision of special revision in the Representation of People's Act, it clearly says it is for a constituency or for a part of the constituency. This is what it was meant for. And the only time in history where special intensive revision was carried out was in 2001 in Thakurdwara, when Mr. Lingdo received a complaint that all the Muslims' names have been deleted. He got an inquiry done. And after that, he ordered that, okay, the entire voter list of Thakurdwara will be done afresh. This is what the whole thing was meant for. No, something like this is not happening right now. And but wherever we come across any such example where a large number of people have been excluded, I think the sooner we can bring it to the attention of the court, the greater we have the chances of receiving some relief. Right now, the Supreme Court is in a mood to grant relief, but does not have the time to listen to the real issue. The problem, as Madhuri ji is asking about wrongful inclusion, a special redressal will only be drops in the ocean. You're absolutely right, Madhuri. This is the whole problem. So we are getting drops in the ocean, we are getting crumbs. But what about the real thing? The real thing is that it is completely, I mean, the mechanism, the whole thing is completely wrong. Trying for a mechanism for continued redressal, well, the Election Commission would say, well, the mechanism exists 365 days a year, which is to say, you can always, if SIR is over, even then, you can completely, you can get someone registered any day. That is open. So in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Gujarat, when SIR is over, it does not mean that the voters list is frozen. No, voters list continues to be revised. So Election Commission formally would simply say, well, you can, revise it any day. What's the problem? In fact, even after the declaration of Model Code of Conduct, the voters list can be revised. You can get new names included there. So formally speaking, there is a mechanism. The trouble is that once you throw out a few lakh names, only a few hundred names come back through these mechanisms. That's the whole problem. You throw out 65 lakh names, and then, maybe 1 lakh name come back. It's all right. But that's the whole problem. A new process for revision, we have been asking the Election Commission that for people who are excluded, that is to say, those who were on the voters list, who should have continued, but whose names have been wrongfully excluded, there should be a special form, there should be a special process. They should not be asked to fill Form 6. There has to be a new process. Well, unless the court order them to do so, nothing of that kind is going to happen. That's our problem.
Yogendra ji, just one clarification about the specific reliefs to be brought before the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the individual to be a co-petitioner, what are the minimum requirement that we should be ensuring or obtaining from the aggrieved person? Like, should we obtain an affidavit or just a
Yes.
verification of the facts would
No,
suffice?
unfortunately, the court does not accept anything other than an affidavit.
Okay, so affidavit from the direct affected person is
Affected
mandatory.
person, yes.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So we prepare in that direction.
Yeah. So Radhika, your question about does new voter require relative parent in 2002? That is what the hard copy form that the BLO is taken. Online doesn't have it. Because in our family, some people's names were just arbitrarily deleted. So we got them in this process only to do Form 6. They didn't have to give any proof other than a declaration that they were Indians and they had to give the birth certificate, etc. Whatever for birth. But the hard copy form has the 2002. That's actually a very worrying thing.
Kavita,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
what you are describing is what used to happen in the past. Now it is absolutely mandatory. If they don't have it in the online version, then that's
Yeah,
a
they
technical
don't.
error. That's a technical error. Because once the form goes there, they will call you up and say, please put the following additional information.
That's what the BLO said. हम
Yeah,
उनको
exactly.
बुलाएंगे और
Come and
पूछेंगे,
बुलाएंगे,
मैडम
पूछेंगे.
आप क्यों इतना हल्ला कर रही हो? हमें
हाँ,
हमारे ही तो पास आ रहा है वो form.
So yeah, that's the basic thing. Now it is absolutely mandatory, offline or online. Everyone will have to show that either I existed on the voters list or my parents existed on the voters list in 2002. Otherwise, I will have to give proof that I'm a citizen of India. There
This
is
is
no
NRC
escaping
through
that.
the back door. I mean, it's
It is absolutely. I mean, it's not so much the back door, Kavita. This is the
Yeah,
front
it's
door
front
now.
door.
It's a straightforward enhancement. Yeah. Shall we call it a
So,
day?
yeah. So, friends, I mean, thanks so much, Yogendra. We've been going on for 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think the conversation, the sharing was very important. जो हम लोगों ने आज 2.25 घंटे बात की, मुझे लगता है ये बहुत ज़रूरी है. We've also recorded it. मुझे लगता है कि बहुत और बाकी है. 20 तारीख का कन्वेंशन बहुत ज़रूरी है. एटलीस्ट जितने लोग आज जुड़े, हर जगह से लोग उस कन्वेंशन में पहुंचे, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन क्लब में. वी मस्ट रीच फ्रॉम ऑल ओवर, डेफिनेटली फ्रॉम द सदर्न स्टेट्स, फ्रॉम तमिलनाडु, फ्रॉम केरला. Friends, we must mobilize. PUCL is also one of the organizers. I'm sure NAPM and Bharat Jodo will also try bringing people, and that we can get affected people also. The design would be such that we can also get affected people.
Absolutely.
And
That's very important because those affected people have to come and give testimonies.
And we would have some media also.
Yes,
hopefully. So we can keep trying. But Yogendra, what we are leaving behind and we cannot discuss in this meeting, we don't have the political parties. The next dialogue on SIR will have to be with the political parties. Are we going to build a people's movement against this absolutely illegal, unconstitutional, even if the judgment is otherwise? Judgments have never stopped people's movements. Acts have never stopped people's movements. People's movements have worked within a framework of justice. And definitely, we also know how to interpret the Constitution. What Supreme Court gives is a ruling, It's not, I mean, it's not like the final, only for a time being, maybe. So I think that question we still need to work upon, because this is something we cannot accept. We are very small. We are the micro of the micro. Yet this is a question of building a movement. How, with whom? This is something, maybe yet another dialogue, and maybe after in January or something, or in February, we could meet again. 20th, let us all meet. And Siraj, यू वांट पर्चाज, आप हमसे पर्चा मांग रहे हैं. बहुत पर्चे हैं, हर राज्य ने पर्चे बनाए हैं. माधुरी ने बनाया है, राजस्थान ने बनाया है, हमारे बहुत मेमोरेंडम है, हम आपको सब भेज देंगे. हर राज्य, लेट्स शेयर these details. Let's bring together all the stuff we've created, all the memoranda that we took to CEO or wrote to CEC. Let's bring that all together. I think just the research is very important. So we also need an SIR website. Aishwarya, have you created an SIR space of the PUCL? Let's upload everything. Maybe Yogendra ji, has Bharat Jodo created a space for SIR? So where we can also
No,
upload
we
everything.
don't have a website for that separately.
Yeah, we just have to create a tab, I mean, I think the
we have
PUCL
something
has
called
created.
No SIR, which is National Observatory on SIR.
Okay,
So
okay.
under that, we'll probably create a website, which we can all share.
Yeah. So we can do that and share links with PUCL if we have
sure.
already created.
Sure.
So सारे साथियों, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आप सबको. This has been a very valuable conversation. Thank you, Yogendra, for sticking out so long with us. There's so many things
Thank you
that
very
you need
much.
to do. Thank you, all our speakers.
Thank
Sorry
you.
we
Look
rushed
forward to
you.
meeting all of you on the
हमने आप
20th.
सबको बहुत जल्दबाजी की. ऐश्वर्या, प्लीज सेव द चैट. आप सबको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद साथियों. जितने भी लोग जुड़े, आई कैन सी अरुण दत्ती, मुजाहिद,